Sports Hub, Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots now have 6 straight losses for the first time in 31 years after they fell to Jacksonville yesterday, 32-16 in London. The Patriots actually led 10-0 before the Jaguars scored 22 unanswered points, and that was the end of the suspense for the day. Drake May, 26 of 37 passing for 276 yards and 2 touchdowns in a loss.
Yeah, no, we've been preaching fast start. AVP, you want us to start fast. You said it last week we didn't do it, but I feel like, we did that today and we just didn't sustain long enough.
The Patriots defense allowed 171 yards rushing, and the special teams watched Parker Washington return a punt 96 yards for a score. They are now 1-6. They're back home to play the Jets this Sunday. The Jets fell to 2-5. They got blown out in Pittsburgh last night, 37-15. Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick ended his holdout yesterday. He will report to the team this morning. Cleveland quarterback Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles yesterday in a non-contact injury against Cincinnati. He's out for the season. Tua Tagovailoa will reportedly begin practicing this week in the hopes of playing for Miami Sunday against Arizona. At the baseball playoffs, the Dodgers beat the Mets 10-5 to win the National League pennant in 6 games. They host the Yankees in Game 1 of the World Series on Friday night. And with the NBA season set to begin tomorrow night, the New York Liberty won the WNBA title for the first time last night. They beat Minnesota in overtime 67-62 in the 5th and deciding game of the finals. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Enjoy the game with the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Please drink responsibly. I'm John Wallach of Boston Tone for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Opening him up with a football.
98.5. The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. We are in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on YouTube, which is a very exciting thing. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Uh-oh.
Oh, overnight oats. My stars. You can call us 617-779-0985. So the game was on, obviously, at 9:30 yesterday. And
I was, by the way, before, that was very Nick-like. By the way, can we talk about this on the radio? How's the rest of the situation with the overnight outs? Like the hours and day after situation.
it's all normal now.
It's all normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Body adjusts.
Okay. All right.
Body adjusts. Just healthy. Real healthy.
All right.
That's kind of my game. So the game was at 9:30 yesterday.
Yeah.
So I had a big race.
What the hell are you talking about?
You ran a 5K, did you, yesterday? Attaboy.
But there's a point to this, and it's not about the race. So I go
What were you curing or solving?
I don't even know. I did it. I paid the entry fee and did the race.
It's a mental barrier of running a 5K.
You got the wrong
crossed it.
one. I'm not jumping up and down going, I hosted an event that made $1 million. Oh, did you? It's all because of you. No, I ran in a race.
Who had 5 minutes in the pool?
Yeah, exactly. So no,
I ain't the one.
yeah, I'm not that person. No, I honestly don't know. It was probably for charity, right? And
Was it in Newton?
yes.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the Patty's race. But anyway, this kind of incorporates everything, but it's going to get to a main point. So everyone just hold on because I'm taking you on a trip. So I get up and I do what I got to do. The game starts. And I watched the game, and it's 10-0. Drake May looks phenomenal, and I go, "Oh, this is great." But I needed my daughter to go to the race with me. She was staying at my house on Friday night, or on Saturday night, so I needed her to go to the game with me or the race with me. So I was like, I meet her in the kitchen because I watch everything in the basement. I meet her in the kitchen. The lift comes because you can't park there because it's too much traffic. So lift comes, drops us off. When we're about to get dropped off. So what do you say? 10 minutes has gone by.
Yeah.
I go to because I'm going to listen to the game during the race. I look at the app. It's a 22-10.
Yeah.
I'm not quite positive how that happened. It had not been a lot of time. I was just going from one end of Newton to the other. And then it was 22-10. So anyway, I do this race. The game is completely out of hand the whole time. Obviously, there was never a threat of them coming back. And but then I do the race, records, PRs, everything.
Nice.
I mean, people coming up to me, "Oh, you're the best." But when I was running, people would say stuff to me.
Oh.
And because I was running it by myself, and people would come say stuff to me. And I'd have to take my headphones out and then look at them. And I was struggling because I'm not a big time runner, So I was struggling. I never run outside. And I'll let you know there's a big difference between that treadmill and the outside.
You get yourself a 5 mile an hour headwind, and you're convinced you're trying to summit Everest. If you're only used to running inside on a treadmill,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, it
And
sucks.
no good.
I'll tell you what, I don't like hills. And so anyway, so I finished the thing, and now I got my son, and we're gonna watch football, and the 1:00 games end, and I go, all right, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta do everything possible because I'm like freezing up. Every year of my 49 years has hit me. My body's like freezing up. So we go in the sauna. Then my son and I are going to go into the hot tub. And, what's this over here? Cold plunge. So I say to my son, now, and today and yesterday was at 50, not 55, 50.
Yes.
Well, it's warmer outside. You got to go colder on the cold plunge.
And so my son's like, you want to try it? I go, yeah, I'll try it. Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. So I get in, I submerge myself. My son can't even get in past his knees. He goes, how are you doing this? And I go. So another guy comes in.
So you explain to him you've been numbed from years of toxins and other chemicals.
That's not true. This is just toughness. So this other guy comes in. He gets into the tub. He's he goes, how are you doing this? I go, I don't know. Pain don't hurt. Right. And then
most of my patients would disagree.
The name is Dalton.
And so for 5 minutes, I just get sick of it. I could have stayed forever. I get out. Now I get into the hot tub. It's a big, big hot tub. There's like 4 other guys in there. And they're eyeballing me. I'm like, these guys want trouble?
Right. Good.
And they're just like, how'd you do that?
Right.
And I said, oh, yeah, it's not that hard for me. And they're like, wow, dude. And I'm like,
Did you explain to them it helps when you go out and run a personal best in a 5K and cure everything and that way you're further inspired to take the plunge, so to speak?
No, but if I said if you follow me on socials, I'll make a nice donation to the same charity that I ran for today. Is what I did.
Okay.
So I gave them all my social media.
What do you know what your time was for the 5K?
I do.
Okay, let's have a little guessing game.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I believe Freddie T did something, and you were running with your daughter?
No.
Son?
No, I ran by myself.
Oh.
My daughter was there. She had to hold my stuff.
He just
and
said
we had friends there.
He just said he was struggling for a point there. Remember, he had to take out his headphones, and
And I said I was running by myself. Good call, John. Usually you're the one who doesn't listen.
Yeah. Well,
Hardy the one today.
today I'm locked in.
I'm going to say you ran about 10-minute miles, and at 5K is what, 3.2?
3.2.
So I'm going to say the 32:30.
I will say 29 minutes and 45 seconds.
I'm going to go on the outside and say with the stops to chat with people and the fact that Fred did mention he was struggling because he usually runs indoors. I'm going to go a little high. I'm going to go 34:13.
I ran it in 30 minutes, 1 second.
Oh, so just missed it.
Yeah.
30 minutes, 1 second. John Wallach wins. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
also, could you see the time? Was there a timer? Was there a clock at the finish line? Did you know?
Yeah, but
you
it's
had
all screwed up. So like I don't know. And,
Right,
and
when
my
you
watch was
started,
different,
right.
and it's when you start. So I didn't really know. But if I wanted to break 30 minutes, I would have. But I would. So I feel a little better because I wouldn't have. Because I thought the end was coming, so I started running real fast. Like my split at the end is way faster. Is maybe a minute faster than my like other splits because I started running because I thought around the corner was the finish line, but it wasn't. It was around the next corner.
You started your kick too soon.
Yeah, so I started like the kick.
Steve Prefontaine.
The kick for me, I finished above halfway.
He finished fourth.
I
in the Olympics.
finished like 800 out of like 2,000 people. So or 600 out of 1,800 people, something like that. So I started kicking, and then I was like, oh no, it's not there, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, and so I started running hard, kept running hard, and I like finished. But when I finished, it was the first time ever in one of those things, and probably since. I can't recall when I was like, whoa, like I felt like all off. You know how when you were a kid and like you did sports and they would torture you and like run you around and stuff? Like,
oh yeah,
sure.
I don't get a lot of that in my adult life. And usually when I run the 5Ks, I just sort of, jog. My goal is just to run the whole thing. But since I in whatever with the time, but since I ran hard for say a half a mile, say I like ran it like pretty hard for a half a mile, I can tell you my heart rate was like 185 when I was running that beats per minute, which is very high for me. I was in no mood to talk. People like dudes I knew were coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And I'm like, I can't talk.
Do you guys remember?
189 was my beats per minute.
That's pretty high
at the end.
That's higher than I think it's supposed to be.
I agree. That's max VO2.
Do you guys remember Megan O'Brien? Used to work for the Patriots. Now Megan Morant with the WWE.
Yeah, Major Guns.
You don't remember
No.
seeing Megan? All right, she's a local, sports Patriots person. Worked with Perillo and all those guys for years, but has been with the WWE for a few years now. As a matter of fact, she is married to a former intern, I believe, here at the radio station. I think it was a Felger Maz intern. Anyway, she posted on Instagram yesterday. She is also a runner. That she ran a half marathon yesterday. Let's see. What does this say? Ran a half marathon to celebrate halfway through pregnancy. Managed to hold on to my 6:15 splits, blah, blah, blah. Not a personal best, blah, blah, blah.
Jeez.
I saw her time. It was like an hour 20 or something.
No, come on. For a half marathon?
121.
She
Oh,
look
my
like?
God.
What does she look? Let me see what she's doing.
She's very tall and fit. I mean, she's tall, she's thin, she's,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
you know.
So she's 4 months pregnant, and she ran a 120 half marathon?
All right.
Yeah.
Give me your impression. The guy who won the 5K ran it in 13 minutes, 47 seconds.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
What?
He's a 27-year-old guy, ran in 13 minutes, 47 seconds.
That's
And
obnoxious.
And judging by the picture, he's got like you know how cyclists wear cycling stuff? He's got the equivalent of running stuff. He's got like a running like vesty thing.
Okay.
on.
I would think
There's no reason for him to run that race.
Remember when we had this conversation before? We had it. I think we might have had it last year. And I said, "What the hell's the point?" Well, my friends were at the race. They live in the neighborhood, and they were telling me that there are this group of dudes that do all these pub races, and like really like balls them all out.
Okay.
To like and for the victory, but this guy won by a minute 27 seconds.
You're and that's for 3 miles. That's incredible. I mean, he is running 4 minute 30-second miles.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes. Yeah, 4.5 splits.
For a runner like that, there's no reason to enter a race. Quotation mark. There's
That
no
also
reason for
also
it.
includes Fred Toucher.
Yes.
Yes, that's the best way of putting it.
A guy
Seriously,
who's 58.
That's very well put.
A guy
yes.
who's 58 did it in 16:53. How fast? You're the one, John, that would run it the fastest.
Okay.
Because Adam would not have the entry fee. Hardy, I don't. He's more of a walk in the links.
Yeah.
And then Nick obviously could finish it if you gave him a couple days. Now, John, you would finish it the fastest because you run outside. You listen to the pit bull.
Yes.
What would you finish that race?
26, 27.
Oh, that's very
Not
impressive.
blazing. No.
Well, that's blazing to me. That's above average. I looked it up.
When I was running a lot, I ran the South Boston St. Patrick's Day 5K, and I think I did it in like 25, 30 or
wow.
something
Okay.
like that. And I was sore for 3 days.
Yeah.
Because I mean, running 8-minute miles, that's the most I could do. And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So-
I did it 4 minutes faster than I did it last year, but last year I didn't feel like I was going to die at the end. So there you go. Mm-hmm. And it's not making me want to run outside anymore. Last year when I was over, I'm like, oh, I could run a marathon.
I just can't get
But
over
I'm
it.
glad that you're paying attention to the time. Now, the last time I did anything like in back-to-back years and paid attention to the time, it was one of these stair climbs. It was at the Hancock, and I don't know. It's a new name for the building now.
Yeah.
But, you know, 62 floors, right? And it's a double stairway going up. It's over 1,200 steps. And they say if you're in good enough shape to run a 5K, you can do this without any other training. You know, just it's climbing a lot of stairs. So the first year I did it with Marcy. I'm like, well, let's go do this. Okay. And we made the mistake, of like trying to like jog up the first set of stairs. No. Whatever you do, don't do that unless you've been training to do a stair run, because by the time you climb up, let's say you had to climb the stairs to the 10th floor of an office building, you'd be exhausted, right?
Yep.
You got to go to the 62nd floor. And I was trying to jog up the first few flights. I'm like, we're not even going to make it. We made it, but the time was like over 22 minutes or something because she had to stop and get water. Oh, I'm thirsty.
Were there water stations?
So next year I'm like, you know what?
I never thought of that.
She started hemming and hawing about doing it. I said, "Don't worry, you're not doing it. I'm going for a PR. All right, staying back. Hold my stuff. I'll be back in a few minutes." So I go, and I'm smart about it the second year, and I don't run at all. I just steady Eddie, right? Steady Eddie. And someone else told me it's like try and get your entire foot on each step. Otherwise, you'll burn your calves out. Got to use the quads. Got to use the big muscles, John, right? The glutes, the quads,
Sure.
right?
Right.
So I get up there, and I'm thinking to myself, as I'm looking at my watch and I make it up to the 31st floor, I'm like, I'm right at about 7.5 minutes right now. I am cooking with Crisco. I'm gonna break the 15-minute barrier. I get up to the very end and I'm passing other people. I'm just blazing, right? I'm doing very well and everyone's very impressed. People are trying to talk to me like they're trying to talk to Fred yesterday, and I said, shush! Going to break the 15-minute mark. I passed some firefighters who are they're trying to save somebody. Anyway, no. The firefighters do it with full gear on, right?
Yeah.
As they're like, oh, I'm a real man. I'm like, shush! I passed some on the last couple of floors. Little did I know they were all part of the same company, right? The same engine, whatever. And their guys are waiting for them to cross together. They're all going to cross together. So as I pass the last group, I see that there's a group waiting. You know what I did? I stopped, and I allowed the guys that I had passed to then pass me so all the firefighters could cross the final threshold together. I was the real hero that day. Not the guys with the oxygen tanks and the axes.
Of course.
With the little helmets and the boots. Mm-hmm. This guy was the real hero for allowing them to cross over first and thereby giving up my 15-minute mark. I finished at like 15:30.
That probably meant a lot to them.
I think it did, and I would like it if they were to give me some kind of honorary badge. Just one of the little – it doesn't have to be
But
a
if you
real
would have
badge.
finished and just the guys would have stayed behind you, what difference would it make? They still would have gone over themselves.
They would have, but they wanted to cross together. And there were
Yeah, but they could have. If you would have, just gone through and the other people were still waiting, by the time the other guys got to them, they would just all cross together anyway.
There's an etiquette to the stair climbs, Fred. And I will say that I probably breached some etiquette as I was the only one that was passing the firefighters. I think everyone else had the wherewithal to say, these guys are trying to do something maybe a little more poignant than what you're doing. And
Whoa. Why is it so poignant for them? Are they trying to get PRs? I mean, a PR is a PR.
Thank you.
Devil may care. Now, you might want to drift off the firemen for a while because they have all that stuff on. You drift them, and then
Draft.
Draft, right? Sorry, draft.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you use that momentum to
Slingshot to the end.
Slingshot yourself out.
Shot around.
Give me a lady's leg and 2 Tonka cars, and I can do it.
And also, you're going to have a little more hair on your thigh than you would see in a movie, say, produced in 2024. Back then, a little furry.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll start talking about the Patriots game, which I'm sure if you didn't watch, you know all about by now, but we can tell you some of the aftermath and everything else. We'll be right back.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, a big game over there in London, a nice 9:30 kickoff.
It was very nice to be up and at 'em early. Pregame shows were going super early here on the Sports Hub over on Patriots.com. Mike Dussault.
Oh, that's right. You were there.
Later. Yeah. We started just after 8 o'clock, and it was good. It was nice to have some football going on that time of day. Reminded me of living on the West Coast where you would get, especially on Thanksgiving, you get, 9 a.m. football all the time or 9:30 football, 10 a.m. at the latest. So, yeah, this is cool. It's fun to watch. And it was fun to watch, especially when the Patriots go out and do something they haven't done all season.
Chocolate snap to May, looking right. He tosses it to a wide-open Hasty. Right sideline 10, a cut left at the 5. Jermichael, the former Jaguar, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots!
That's a hell of a read by the young quarterback on his second start. May reads it perfectly, gives him an easy catch, and then it's all Hasty from there. Makes 3 guys miss at the 4. Patriots open up with 6.
Open up, wait a second, open up like opening drive 6? Yes, for the first time this season.
First time in 11 games.
if you choose,
go back to last season.
If you choose to go back,
yeah.
First downs, a touchdown, the extra point, up 7-0 early on the Jags yesterday.
One other stat, it's only the 4th time all season they've gotten a first down on their first drive.
Yeah, that was
that's how bad it's been.
That was pointed out several times. But there's a new guy in at quarterback, so the Jags stopped on their opening possession. Patriots get the ball again.
Joey Slye coming on for the field goal attempt from 41 yards, right hash mark. Joe Cardona back in the lineup despite a calf injury. Snaps it to Behringer. Ball placed down. Line drive kick, sailing to the uprights is good.
Nice.
And the Patriots have added to their lead. They're out to a 10-0 advantage over Jacksonville here in London.
It's going to be a turkey shoot.
Very subtly, this is where the mistake started.
Well,
it should have been a touchdown. What happened was May went back to pass. City So in at right guard gets beat.
I thought it was City Sue. The telecast kept saying City Sue.
I know. City Sue got beat. Pass rush in Drake May's face. His pass to Kendrick Bourne, who was wide open, just out of his reach. If he wasn't hurried, it would have been an easy first down. They probably go in and score, but instead they have to settle for a field goal. And this, Hardy, is where the game turned.
Well, the Jags would answer with a touchdown, which is fine. It's 10-7. They would then get a stop against the Patriots, but if you want to know where it really turned...
Lawrence with a play fake. He's got a deep drop, and he's got time. Stepping up, loads up. There's a long ball. Thomas has separation, and he's going to make the catch against Gonzalez, who makes the tackle. But a long ball to the 20, and the Jaguars are in business.
It's a good read by Trevor Lawrence. Christian Gonzalez just gets beat here. He had outside leverage, but he had the ability to potentially make it up. We've seen him make plays like that before. He got beat.
Trevor Lawrence connecting with Brian Thomas on a 58-yard reception. Thomas, by the way, 5 of 5 on his targets for the day. And that 58 yards set up a touchdown for the Jaguars to go up 14-10. And that was your ball game.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
that
was it. How many times did the Jaguars throw in the second half?
They ran the
Twice.
football 18 straight plays.
That's
18 runs in a row.
Okay, so that's
most between the tackles, by the way.
All right, there's 3 things that you can say about this game, and 1 is a positive and 2 are negative. All right, 1's a positive to me, and 2 is a negative. The most embarrassing thing about that game was not that you couldn't score against the league's worst pass defense or anything that particularly, or that you couldn't run the ball.
Could not run the ball.
At all.
The most embarrassing thing that happened is that they just ran. And they ran, and they got a lead, and they just ran the ball. They didn't throw again. They just ran and ran and ran, and you couldn't stop them, and they didn't care. Teams are the Texans did the same thing. Like, teams are playing you differently. They're getting a lead and then just sitting. It's like it's just almost like a prevent offense at that point.
What the worst part about it is, it might be a prevent offense, but it's a prevent offense that still moves the ball down the field and scores on you. That's the thing. There's one thing about sitting on a lead. The other part of it is you're so bad, the other team's trying to sit on the lead, and they're still scoring on you, which is what happened yesterday.
Well, Trevor Lawrence was 9 of 10 on his passes.
Jets did that too, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
He ended up attempting 20 passes in the game, so it was pretty evenly split. The difference was he stopped completing everything in the second half. They're like, well, they can't stop the run. Well, just run the ball. We'll just run the ball, and they'll run it. We'll run it on first down, and we'll pick up 12 yards. All right, another first down. Should we air? No, we're not going to open up. We'll run it again on first down, and we'll pick up 8 and put ourselves in second and short. And they, as long as the Patriots defense was unable to do anything to stop the run, why put anything in jeopardy by throwing the ball when there were a couple of incompletions that Trevor Lawrence threw in the second half? They're like, fine, we just won't throw it.
And when they did throw it, they weren't throwing it downfield. I mean, in the second half, what?
Jacksonville, 17-play drive, 11 minutes and 24 seconds. That was the one where they got stuffed on fourth down deep in Patriots territory. But that was the way the game was. They were, I think 16 of those plays were runs.
Yeah, all right. So that's what's truly terrible for your team. Number 2, anyone who would hire Bill Belichick is out of his mind. This team is this bad. Well, Elliott Wolf didn't do anything, and they really screwed the draft up. This last draft. I mean, Polk is a problem,
we'll get into.
Yeah. But he's not good, and he's a problem. The Osborne signing he's a problem. He's been terrible. You should have heard Scott talk about him. I know he had a touchdown yesterday, but you should have heard Scott talking about him during the broadcast. You know, the moves they made, but whatever. Like it is what it is. This year wasn't supposed to be that way, but this is the team Belichick built. It is. He had over 20 years of building this, and so what did he win? 4 games last year?
Yep.
So, you know, so maybe if they win 2 games, because I got news for you, they're not winning 4. But if they win 2-3 games, sure, Belichick would have gotten you another win. But this roster's not as good as that roster that he had last year, just because of attrition in trades that they made, in injury. But this is on Belichick. Yes, Jonathan.
Let me ask you, if Barmore was healthy and playing, if Juwan Bentley was healthy and playing, if Jabril Peppers hadn't gotten arrested and was playing, how many more wins do you think this team would have?
None.
And I agree with you, by the way, which is why I brought it up.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, maybe
Seattle.
Maybe Seattle. So maybe you have
Seattle.
one more win.
Whatever. You're not getting over 4.5.
No, you're not.
Over the 4.5 win total.
And I'll tell you why. In direct relation to this game, the reason why I don't think it changes your record all that much is because it doesn't stop plays like this from happening.
Barringer punts a boomer to carry Washington inside the 5. He takes it from the right hash mark. He's got room to the 15, 20, and burst up the middle to the 40. He's going to beat Barringer with a cut left to the 40. Go under the 30. Head to the 20. Past the 10. And he's going to celebrate by falling backward into the end zone.
Nesty plunge, a 96-yard punt return, so that doesn't change with having all those guys in. And there's
right. I just want to get to one last thing. But wait, go ahead.
Well, it goes back to what John was saying about when the Patriots got the stop and the Jags decided to go for it on fourth down. They're up 25-10. You make it a 3-score game, but instead they're going to go for it on fourth down. They turn the ball over on downs. They give you points right there by not putting them on the board. How do you capitalize on that? By marching down the field, scoring a touchdown, and then doing this idiocy.
Patriots keep the offense on the field. They go for 2. Osborne has to get set. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. May takes the step, throws it to the right. His receiver fell down.
Got him.
He had Jalen Polk at the goal line. He slipped and fell to the turf.
It'd have been wide open.
It's not a 17 or 18 point game. It is a 15-point game. All right, so you're going to need presumably 15 points, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion at some point. Why teams insist on doing it first and putting themselves in the hole, I don't know.
Because
I don't
you have
understand.
to, and it gives you 2 chances. Because if you don't get it the next time, you can get it the next time. That doesn't bother me at all.
That bothered me.
I would have done it
with 7 minutes left in the game.
It doesn't matter because because you need one. You're going to need one.
Right. All right. Here's why it matters. You just go. You kick the extra point. you're down 8 points. Okay? You only need one more touchdown and a 2-point conversion. If you stop them and you score again, you have all the momentum. You have all the momentum. And I believe in momentum in games. I believe it's a thing. And to try and get it the second time, when you have the momentum of having scored twice and gotten a stop, I like your chances better of scoring a 2-point conversion the second time as opposed to that time.
Okay, well, you're kind of guessing on the emotion of the team. I don't think missing a 2-point conversion lets a team the air out of a team, nor do I think making an extra point has any effect on a team. So, I would have done the same thing.
The team is down 9. They know they have to score twice as opposed to once.
But if you need to get the extra, you need that 2-point conversion at some point.
Yeah.
It still doesn't make any sense. If you need the 2-point conversion at some point, if you kick the extra point there, you still need a 2-point conversion.
Yes.
So you're still going to have to go for a 2-point conversion. All you're saying is you're more likely to make it the second touchdown than you are the first touchdown?
What I'm saying is you put yourself behind the 8 ball by knowing that, well, even if we score another touchdown here, we're probably not going to win.
Oh, and obviously the metrics say to go for it there. I mean, that's obviously what they say is to go for the 2. No, I don't have a problem with that at all.
I have a problem with it, especially given the fact that they had just gifted you not kicking a field goal, going for it on 4th down. Like, okay, let's capitalize on this. Let's not look this gift horse in the mouth. Let's go down. Let's take our 7 points and then take our chances on getting a stop, marching down again, scoring a touchdown, and then we'll go for 2.
At that point, I thought you were only going to get the ball once. After that,
yes.
I thought you were only going to get the ball once because the defense was never going to stuff them for 3 and out.
You're down.
So you had one drive left after that score.
You kick the extra point, and that way you'd be down 8 with 7 minutes left in the game.
I don't know.
And you hadn't scored since your second drive.
I mean, you're going to need it again. I don't know what the difference is, to be honest.
The difference is you hadn't scored since the second drive of the game when you finally get back there, and now you're gonna be willy-nilly with an extra point. We don't need that. Well, you know what? We'll pick it up later.
Yeah, put off the lower
they were right.
Play.
I mean, they didn't need the point. I mean, they got beat 32-16, and I don't think it's because they went for 2.
I just hated it in the moment, and whenever I see it, I don't get it unless it is, you're down 16. You need to do it both times. Fine. That's different. But to go for it the first time around, well, that way we know what we need. Well, all right, you missed it, so now you know what you need, and what you need is 2 scores instead of 1.
I agree.
That sucks.
Well, Volan thinks that they made the right decision.
Well, good for him.
He's
wrong.
As I peruse his article.
Yes.
So me and Volan are on the same page, and you know what that means.
Well, yeah.
You're a superstar. That's what that means.
I like the first comment that was posted underneath Volan's assessment of that, because he said essentially what you're saying. They're still down 9, but now they know they need 2 scores and have 8:22 left. Had they waited until the end of the game to go for 2 and fail, they wouldn't have had enough time to make it up. And then the first comment is, it's better to be down 2 scores than 1 score in a game you've struggled to score.
Well, regardless, I mean
What?
that is a debatable thing, but it obviously didn't matter.
Yes.
I will get to my final point of my 3, which is the positive point. Coming up, here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Make it 6 straight losses for the Patriots. They lost in London yesterday to Jacksonville, 32-16. Patriots are 1-6. They play the Jets in Foxborough on Sunday. Jets will come in with a record of 2-5. They lost in Pittsburgh last night, 37-15. It'll be the Dodgers against the Yankees in the World Series. LA won the National League pennant in the 6 games last night by beating the Mets 10-5. And the Tampa Bay Rays Director of Predictive Modeling, Taylor Smith, has reportedly been hired by the Red Sox as an assistant general manager. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Concord Group Insurance, serving the needs of residents and small business owners in their local communities for nearly 100 years. Speak with your independent agent about Concord Group Insurance today. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Hub.
All right, we are. Oh, you're playing these esoteric songs still.
Oh, no, this one's one of mine. But I do have some of the esoteric ones in the rotation. Don't worry about it.
Very good.
I was worried.
I mean, we all were talking about it off the air. Like, I wonder if he got rid of those. We are Toucher and Hardy. So we went over the two. I have 3 points from yesterday. The most embarrassing thing, and it's going to be hard to get out of him. We'll talk about the repercussions coming up at 7. They're already happening. And it kind of goes against a lot of the beat writers' beliefs that this wouldn't. The way you're losing games is not the way you want to lose them. You lose games. You want to be building towards something, though, at the end of the year. Fine, but we've done that. The second one, John's got a lot to say today. I can see his mouth opening. B is Bill Belichick should never get another job. This team is terrible. It would be terrible if he was coaching, and at least they're doing something positive. And by the way, Bill Belichick had a third-year starter at the quarterback position last year. Now, the good news is Drake May. I watch an awful lot of football and have seen a lot of young quarterbacks. Drake May is physically everything. He can evade the rush, which, believe me, some quarterbacks can't at all. He can evade the rush and extend plays, which no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what anyone says, if they say that's not necessary, that's asinine. That's asinine. You're seeing a 40-year-old quarterback in another city that can't move, and he's getting killed, and the team is not going to make the playoff. He can extend plays, avoid the rush. You know, he can hold the ball for more than 2 seconds without crumpling into the ground. You've seen he's got a great arm, and he's got great touch on long passes, and he's never been overwhelmed. He's never been overwhelmed. And that is the most important part. So thank your lucky stars that you drafted Drake May. And who's better than him on the team?
No.
Who's better than him on the team?
I tell you right now, the only guy out there you could say you have a better football player in right now is Hunter Henry. And he was excellent yesterday, aside from the false start. Henry was really good.
That was a killer. That false start penalty was a killer.
But he's pretty
that
much
doesn't make him a bad player.
Yeah, he had a bad penalty. Drake May had the false start last week. A false start at quarterback. You don't see that all that often. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater because he had one offside call, or one false start. I agree with you. Drake May is the positive right now for this team. Beyond that, this team's got real issues. And to hear Gerard Mayo yesterday say in the post-game press conference, 12, if you could, please, which is in stark contrast to what he said just a couple of weeks ago about this very same football team.
Disappointing game. We came out, we started fast. What I would say is, look, we're a soft football team across the board.
Soft football team.
Yeah. There's no more damning insult from a head coach to a team.
That's it.
That's as bad as it gets.
Well, they could call them yellow.
Yeah.
Like they were cowards.
That's right. Coward of the county.
But, they are soft. In evidence that here's the concerning thing about the Patriots. You knew they were going to lose a lot of games. You knew they were going to lose. Drake May is a great positive, which trumps everything else. But if Mayo's going to be the coach of this team, and I don't think if you're a Patriots fan, you should really even care at this point. He'll be the coach next year, but you're not going to you're not going to the playoffs next year anyway. Hopefully you build towards something. The most important thing is happening. You drafted the right quarterback. That's the most important thing. But when a team doesn't have to throw the ball against you, and it's systematic, you know this. In the Texans game, the Texans got up 14-0, and then they just went into a prevent offense mode. That's what Jacksonville did yesterday. We talked about it. Jacksonville when it got up 22-10, they got the punt return. They just went. We're not gonna put ourselves in any danger of turning the ball over.
Right.
You can't stop us. And as a coach, that's got to be the worst thing to look at, because you can accept someone throwing it all over the field, or one-handed catches or contested catches. You can all of that. But when they line up and just they're going to run,
right,
and they run it and they're picking up 4 or 5 yards a carry, that's what's got to kill you as a coach, because that's the most embarrassing thing. You guys aren't ready. You couldn't get those guys ready, because as an NFL player, you should be able to stop that. Like 11 guys on defense should be able to stop that. This isn't a guy, this isn't even their starting running back. Like, this isn't a kid, Barry Sanders, running around in the backfield and then breaking off like miracle 30-yard runs.
No.
These are runs up the middle that you should be able to stop as a professional football player.
And you as a team, this speaks to what you were just talking about. You as a team, if you're the Patriots, you're making the same mistakes every week. So there's always one special teams mistake. There is even on the last possession where it was 3rd down and 2, you had a holding penalty followed by a sack, and all of a sudden it's 4th and 26, and you're trying to complete that. Jacksonville kicked a field goal, I think, at the end, where a running back, it wasn't Bigsby, it was his replacement, worked out to the left-hand side, slipped, and fell down. Otherwise, he would have scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Then there was a pass towards the corner of the end zone. Christian Kirk had beaten Jonathan Jones, but it was too far to his outside, so he landed with 1 foot out of bounds. And so Jacksonville was forced to kick a field goal. It turns out that it's the opponents making mistakes more than anything you did that stops them.
Yeah.
And by the way, another prevent offense, the Jets in week 3. They got up. They were only won 24-3, but we agreed the morning afterwards it could have been 35 or 42.
Yep, and even though they had success in the passing game, they're like, what's the point? We're going to run the ball 39 times. We're going to hand it off to Bigsby 26 times, and we're just going to bleed some clock, and if we score again, great, but we'll be fine. All the hallmarks of a tough team, this team doesn't have right now. What do tough teams do? Well, they might get beat, but they tackle well. Nope. Well, they hang in there and they figure out ways to run the ball. Nope. You had 38 rushing yards yesterday as a team for the Patriots. 38. And 18 of those came from Drake May.
And the leadership now, you don't have a veteran quarterback. You don't have a quarterback that's captain. The leadership, for instance, Jabril Peppers, captain, arrested. Juwan Bentley, captain, not playing. So the leadership in that locker room isn't there. That's the other part of the problem. And you have a first-year head coach trying to figure it out. This is a harmonic convergence of disaster for this team right now.
But oddly positive because of Drake May.
Yes.
You do have a quarterback.
There's nothing more important than developing this kid.
The most important thing is happening. We have to break. The most important thing is happening, though.
Yes,
you are
very
correct.
true.
But Mayo just might not be the coach for this team. All right, we'll be back, and who cares, really? I mean, who cares? It's not our money. I mean, if they're not going to get rid of him this offseason, but next year might be Mayo's last as the coach of the Patriots. Because I wouldn't stick around and just let them. If this is how the team continues to play, and it's not again about wins and losses, they could go 1-16, and I'd be like, all right, it's the talent issue.
As long as May has enough requisite talent, and they don't do something stupid with an OC or quarterback coach and start to ruin him.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah, and Van Pelt's going to be gone at the end of the season. All right, they're going to have to make major coordinator changes. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Because further evidence why Mayo might not be here for long was the team's behavior. I guess on the flight back, or maybe right when they landed.
I might have even been in the locker room after.
A lot of stuff going on. They made a big mistake in the second round of that draft. Oh, and by the way, you made a big mistake in the second round of the draft when you took Tyquan Thornton over Pickens, who catches balls.
He was pretty good last night, Pickens.
Yeah. Just thrown in the air, and he'll come down with it with one arm.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be right back.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5.
Patriots fell to an NFL worst 1-6 yesterday, care of a 32-16 loss to the previously 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars at Wembley Stadium in London. Drake May was solid again, throwing for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. But the team managed only 38 yards rushing. On the other side, Tank Bigsby ran for 118 yards and 2 scores. And in all, the Jaguars rushed for a total of 171 yards for the day. Gerard Mayo not happy afterwards.
Disappointing game. We came out, we started fast. What I would say is, look, we're a soft football team across the board. You talk about what makes a tough football team. That's being able to run the ball, that's being able to stop the run, and that's being able to cover kicks, and we did none of those today.
It is the first time since 1993 the Patriots have allowed over 160 yards rushing in 3 straight games, and it's also the first time since that year they've lost 6 in a row overall. They're back home to play the Jets on Sunday. The Jets have big problems of their own. They lost big in Pittsburgh last night, 37-15. They're 2-5. The good news is holdout pass rusher Hassan Reddick will report to the team today. Cleveland quarterback Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles yesterday in a non-contact injury. He's out for the season. At the baseball playoffs, the Dodgers beat the Mets 10-5 to win the National League pennant in 6 games. They'll host the Yankees in Game 1 of the World Series Friday night. And the Tampa Bay Rays Director of Predictive Modeling, Taylor Smith, has reportedly been hired by the Red Sox in a front office capacity, possibly as an assistant general manager. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Payblocks. Need fast, secure payment solutions for your business? Payblocks has you covered, just like your favorite team. Payblocks delivers every time. Score big with Payblocks, where payments are quick and easy. Visit payblocks.com. That's PAYBLOX.com today. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
It's called Rising and Grinding.
Start your day.
Got your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom
day
right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I don't look like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
We have a long flight back, and I'm not sure. It's not like all of a sudden we did something different and now we're a soft football team. It's just the mentality that we got to get back in the guys.
This is soft music for soft people.
Music for a soft team,
I
Fred.
should say soft music for soft people, like fat music for fat people. We are Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube 24 hours a day. We stream it live, and then it's just available for you to touch yourself to throughout the day. If you're having trouble falling asleep, young ladies, and you need to satisfy yourself to relax properly, to get those hormones released, John Wallach is
Young
available.
men, too.
Hey, listen, man, whatever floats your boat. I'm not here to tell you which way the wind blows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
AC/DC.
What? Whole lot of Rosie? Big balls? Which song? The classics. In Whole Lot of Rosie, we blow up a big fat balloon of a fat woman.
Get it?
Do you know the quote from like Malcolm Young about that song? He's like, "Oh no, Rosie's very real. She weighed about 10 stone, and she would threaten to break your arm unless you satisfied her. That's Rosie. She would beat us up if we didn't bang her. She was fat, you see. 16 stone." That's the best part of the quote. John, you know the quote. You remember the quote?
No.
Holy
16 stone.
We might have read that 100 times on this show. We might have done that quote 100 times.
Bond had gone out one
Even
night after
Adam
he'd been
knows.
playing.
Yeah,
He'd just been wandering the streets around this little club areas. As he walked past the street, and this girl grabbed him from a doorway. She pulled him and said, "Hey, Bond, in here." And he thought, why not? This girl who was with Bond, this is a quote from Malcolm Young, she was a fair-sized girl. I mean, they didn't have Weight Watchers then. She said, "Bond, these last few months, I've been with 28 famous people." And she was giving the lowdown of politicians and different people she had been out with and whatever. And next thing you know, Bond woke up sort of pinned against the wall. The girl thought Bond was sleeping. She leaned across to her girlfriend, who was sharing the room, and she said, 29. Her name being Rosie, Bond thought it was a great title for his song. He said this girl was worthy of being put into a piece of poetry.
Yeah. He had his own run-in with her where he said she was 16 stone. She would break your arm.
Is that how Bush got the name of their album?
You beat me to it.
Yes, Rosie also was with the nerd from Bush.
Gavin Rossdale.
Gavin Rossdale, who cheated on Gwen Stefani.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was Gerard Mayo saying that the team was soft. Obviously, they were. They couldn't stop the run. Teams are going into neutral offensively against them. And a lot of times, May is making completions against basically a prevent defense. Teams are taking, but May has looked good, and he hasn't looked overwhelmed by the moment. However, Hardy, there were ramifications from yesterday's game.
Yeah, well, let's start with last week in regard to Jalen Polk, because last week Gerard Mayo said that he's got this mental block when it comes to the drops, and he needs to get over that. Jalen Polk took personal offense to that and said something to the effect of, I don't have any mental problems. He took it very personally, whereas I thought Gerard Mayo was actually being kind. He was being supportive, saying, look, you're a good player. You just got this, this little mental thing. You start catching the ball and everything's fine. Polk took it to mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not somehow deficient. I don't have any anything mentally wrong with me. It's like, no. You just got to catch the football. So yesterday, they go out there. Polk is targeted 3 times, drops 2 of them. Legit drops the football in his hands, dropped it, didn't catch. So he no catches.
Then he fell down on a 2-point conversion.
On 3 targets, falls down on the 2-point conversion, which was stupid to be trying in the first place. Yes. All right, so after the game, asked about Jalen Polk. Gerard Mayo says,
well, first I have to remind him he's a young football player, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but, this isn't the last iteration or evolution of Jalen Polk. He just has to get back in the meeting rooms and go back out there on the field and get better.
Yeah, and he even said at another point in there, he said he'll be a good football player. He's just got to go back. He's got to get back to work and keep working on it, and he'll get better, and he'll be a good football player. Jalen Polk, after the game yesterday, posted on Instagram a black screen, just a darkened screen with a peace sign, and the song playing in the background was God Ain't Forget About Me by Rich Homie Quan. You familiar with this song?
Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi's rich uncle?
I thought you... That's exactly right. Perfect. That's exactly right. That post was taken down.
How about this, Luke? I am your benefactor.
Yeah. Yeah, you needed to punch it up a little bit. That's good.
Luke, you already kissed your sister. Come to your uncle.
Oh, no.
That happened.
No, but they didn't know they were brother and sister.
No, but he put it in there. George Lucas didn't have to put it in there.
It's different when he just explains that. He reminds them that they're related, and then he wants to kiss them. No.
That's chapter 8 or chapter 9.
Yeah, but that didn't have to be in unless he was going for something taboo.
How about Christian Barmore?
You know the movie Taboo? The series of movies Taboo?
Yes, I do.
They were very controversial in the 70s. Yes, they were. Who starred in the first Taboo?
That I don't know.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Think. The name. What female actress was in the first Taboo?
Was it Chrissy Canyon?
No. She was 80s. You know who it was.
It's got to be Tracy Lords.
You know who it was.
I'm trying to think.
70s, stupid.
70s.
Tracy Lords was like in 2 porns. The reason she's famous is because she was 17 and got everyone arrested.
I can't think of it.
Of course, John names the underage one.
Who was it?
Well, it's Kay Parker.
Of course it was.
Yeah, could.
Don't you feel stupid?
Well, he just can't
Terrible.
recall information.
Of course. How could I
You
not?
know who Kay Parker is, and you could have done the. You could have thought who was the mature woman of that era. You
I
could
wouldn't
have
have
done
gotten that. You could have sat me here from now until the end of the
But
show.
we've talked about Kay Parker. You brought her up before.
You know what
I've
John's not
never
good at?
brought up Kay Parker on this show.
I just figured this out about John. John has to know something. John is not good at deduction. That's when you're playing like trivia and stuff, it's not what you know, it's what you can deduce. I don't know that you deduce much.
Thanks, Hardy.
I think you have a lot of facts, but if the facts are not readily available to you in that moment, the power of deduction eludes you.
I see. I see. Thanks, Hardy. That's really nice of you to say.
Well,
thank you. That was great.
I said you have a lot of facts.
You have a very good memory.
Thank you.
Just when when you can't when something can't come up in your memory.
I don't know. There's no way to figure it out. Well, there is a way.
I've never brought up Kay Parker on the show.
Oh, we've
ever.
talked about Kay Parker. What color hair does Kay Parker have?
She's a brunette.
All right, so you know who Kay Parker.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. All right, so
Game. Set.
Of course.
Well, he knew what color hair she had.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. He did know, but
1 in 3 chance.
he's almost being like willfully stubborn. It's like, I'm not going to think about this.
Yeah.
If I don't know the answer,
Yes.
I will not think about it and try and come up with the answer.
It is willful.
Okay, Holmes. Of course, you, Sherlock. You are right again.
That's
of
right.
course.
That's right.
That's who you are.
That's right. I don't know a lot, but I can deduce.
You see.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I don't have to read anything. I just deduce. All right, very good.
All right, so the other social media thing comes from Christian Barmore.
But by the way, so Jalen Polk. Does anyone have an idea what this means?
Oh no. He talked about Polk quite a bit yesterday.
Out of the starting lineup.
JP's a great player. He's making plays. It's a little slick out there. Sometimes the ball's on the paint.
This is Drake May, by the way.
The paint all over the ball. So it's just the field a little bit. But other than that, I've got to find ways to get the football early. I can get him in the game early. I think that'll help him. Feel involved. He's a good player for us, and we need him out there. So it's on me to kind of get him going. And throughout the week, I guess after practice, he's always there. So.
No, yeah, he's not good. He's not a good player, and he is a malcontent, and he's got a lot of attitude for a guy who wasn't even the number one receiver at his college. I mean, he was drifting off of Odunze. In Washington. I mean, this kid wasn't a number one.
Drifting or drafting?
It's drafting again.
It is drafting. My bad.
All right. So the other social media story over the weekend from the Patriots comes from Christian Barmore, who had his incident with the police in Providence. He posted on, this was Saturday, a few days have gone by since the incident, and I have a chance to deeply reflect on my behavior. I want everyone to know I'm sorry. Take full accountability for my actions. Apologize to Providence Police Department, teammates, family. My mother was a police officer. I understand the pressures related to the job, which I didn't make any easier by reacting in the manner that I did. Using this as an opportunity to learn, do better. Already met with members of the department to apologize in person. Hope they accept my sincere apology. The meeting is just the first step of many I am taking on the route to self-improvement.
That's nice.
It is nice. Somebody told Christian, you have to fix it.
Somebody got him in the back room.
But then there's the big one. The KJ Osborne.
Oh, you see, I didn't think this one was as big.
Oh, see, I think the KJ Osborne one is the worst out of all of them.
Okay, so the KJ Osborne and his agent. And
KJ Osborne was texting with his agent.
Okay.
So KJ Osborne, so the reason we know this is because KJ Osborne, who wasn't good yesterday, but he caught a touchdown, but for overall he wasn't good, screenshotted this text message chain with his agent and put it on his Instagram. Go ahead.
Being proud of you is an understatement. From being told you would be inactive Wednesday and only taking 3 reps all week in practice to being told you're activated at 11 p.m. on Saturday night and going in the game at another position across the world in London, you held your composure and did what a pro does. You're a true pro, Kay. I love you with my all. Kay, never change who you are. You are truly special. God always got us stay down and keep working. I'm with you while we figure out this situation. And every other, no matter what, you can count on me till the end. And then the reply was, God the glory, brother, John 13:7.
Till the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's way worse, obviously, because he wants off the team and he's announcing it on social media. I mean, there's ways to handle being one off the team, and what are they going to do with you? How? I mean, they could cut you, but why would they? So, who are they trading you to? Who's gonna want KJ Osborne? No one. They can't trade him. So he's making it publicly known that he wants to get out of here. What the agent's saying? Oh, you're so wonderful for handling how terribly they've treated you. I'll be with you for as long as this nightmare lasts, and then we'll get you out of there.
So this is weird now, because now there are reports that this is not his agent. This is someone else.
Whoever it is, he put it up there. Maybe it's his mom. Whoever it is, he put it up there. It doesn't matter. I thought it was his. People said it was his agent.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
It was Giardi said it's not.
Okay. Well, good. Well, then all you got. All I know is he took a. It doesn't matter if he wrote it himself. If he's crazy and he's doing a Monte Teo, he took a screenshot of it and put it up. In that, it includes how terrible the Patriots are to him and how he's overcome so much. And B, it says that he wants out.
What? I don't understand why this means he was treated terribly. It's not like he deserves playing time.
No, but that's what it's saying.
It's not like he's been, demoted to fifth receiver. He was a fifth receiver anyway. I mean, where does he come off being offended?
That's
by the way
why
he was treated?
That's why it's a problem. Like if your diva number one receiver is, screaming about not getting the ball, like Stephon Diggs or something, you figure it out. If Justin Jefferson wants something, you figure it out. Like Polk and Osborne, I mean, you got a little bit of an issue. And you got a young quarterback who doesn't need to worry about two jabronis. There's a very good chance.
Well, we just heard Drake May talking about it's like, I got to give him the ball earlier.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's just saying whatever
the
comes
open
to his
guy.
mind.
Yeah.
But he's just saying whatever comes to his mind and whatever won't piss people off. But he's being a good guy. But the thing is, KJ Osborne probably won't play NFL football next year.
Probably won't play NFL football this year. I think he may be done.
Well,
one of those inactives. As soon as Javon Baker is healthy, that's the reason why Osborne was given a chance, is because Baker is sick. So it sounds to me like if Baker is healthy, Osborne is going to be inactive.
Yeah, Osborne
probably for the rest of the season.
Osborne's got 7 catches for 57 yards this season, and
in 7 games.
Yeah, and he's not been a big stud his entire career. Let's put it that way.
You know what? Watching what's happening around Drake May, captains being arrested, captains being hurt, the locker room sounds like it's seriously in a state of flux.
Okay, so
it'll be a miracle if he comes out of here straight and narrow. You know what I'm saying?
Just to put a bow on this, Gerard Mayo asked once again, another loss. Are you losing the locker room?
No, I'm not worried about that. Look, the guys, they understand. Every week is its own week, and, it's my job, when we get there on Wednesday, is to change the page. So,
all right.
Turn the page. Ooh, turn the page. All right, yesterday, Hardy was doing the pregame for the big New England Patriots, Patriots.com, and he did it with a man by the name of Mike Dussault. We'll talk to Mike Dussault and get him going on what happened, and was the 2-point conversion as terrible as Hardy and John says it is? Based on John's lack of deduction, I'm going to go, I am correct in that it was the right decision.
I see. Your deductions are better than mine?
Oh, John.
I see.
His deductions exist.
Yeah, come on, John. I don't want to be a braggart, but facts are facts. All right, he will be with us in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy.
slam Jalen Pope,
Damn it, he
who was a
dropped
few
it.
steps away from Hunter Henry, but he
Dropped
can't
it.
make the play.
God, dropped it again. This is where Polk has got to be better. 2 hands on the ball. He's got to pull that in.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Mike Dussault is the writer and content producer for Patriots.com, where he was joined by Hardy for the big pregame show yesterday. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mike Dussault, hello, sir.
Good morning, guys.
How was Hardy yesterday? Was it like old times?
Oh, it was like old times. The band, we didn't miss a beat. We picked right up where we left off.
It was like good jazz, just bebopping and scatting around. Me and Perillo and Tamara. Oh, we had a big old time.
Was it free for him? Were you improvising a lot?
Oh, sure. You know, we encourage that on the program. You know, just run with it. You know, do your own thing. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Who's the drummer? Who's the beat of the Patriots pregame? I'm just kidding, Mike. You don't have to go through that.
It's Marine Matt. It's Matt Morrell. He's the producer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As long as I'm the trombonist, I don't care who's what.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're talking.
Trombone.
Yeah, you got John excited because he's a woodwind guy. You guys could coexist.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, let's start with the big debate on the show today. Were the Patriots on the play when Polk fell down, the 2-point conversion? What were your thoughts of the Patriots going for 2 there?
Oh God, I hated it. We all went off on it. I mean, and I think this just is like general. I just don't get it. Like me and Paul and Hardy were like, just someone explain it to me other than, well, you know what you need. I just feel like if I'm a player, I'm great. I'm down 8 points. There's a huge difference between being down 8 and being down 9. And if you score at the end and you've got the momentum and you're putting all the pressure on a final 2-point conversion to tie it, like, I'm great with that. Like, you know, you miss it with 7 minutes left in the game and it feels like we're down 9. We need 2 scores. Like your whole demeanor, I feel like as a player changes. So I don't get it. I got people on Twitter sending me like matrices and like, well, here's the probability, blah, blah. I no one has explained it to me yet in a way that I understand and agree with.
All right, so that's where Hardy got his whole take.
Deuce got it from me. He wrote down what I was saying in the postgame show yesterday.
Yeah,
no,
I like this guy,
and I got that same graph, and it's like the margin of error is 0.5%. I'm like, you know what? Have some sense of how the game is going, and how that game was going is you couldn't score past your second offensive
You
drive.
weren't going to get the ball more than once the rest of the day, and you got to be down 1 score.
By some miracle, you found the end zone again after given the gift of the idiotic decision to go for it on 4th down on the other end of the field that they didn't convert on. So they didn't put up any more points on you. So now, by a miracle, you've gotten back to the end zone. Take your 1 point, be down 8, see if another miracle can happen. Instead, you're asking for 2 more miracles? Stop it with that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
I'll never get it. Send me more matrices though. I enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get math?
Not generally. It's my understanding there's no math.
So you're just going to lean into your ignorance.
That's perfect.
Very good, Mike.
Angrily.
All right. Well, look, Mike is very angry because he's the defensive guy, and we were having the discussion earlier about with the absences on the defense this year. And we rattled off 3 players, and Peppers and Barmore and who else? Bentley. Yeah. How different is that game yesterday if those 3 guys are playing, Mike?
I mean, it's definitely different, but I mean, it's, at this point, you can't really sit there and be like, well, if we had these guys that got, hurt 2 months ago or, just got this, like, it's just not realistic. They have to play better. I mean, I think we were all hoping that they were going to, show a little something, but I mean, they just can't get off the field. And as much as you want to be excited about Drake May, and, certainly I thought he made some strides yesterday, and that was, great game plan coming out in the first quarter, but if you can't get stopped and then you're giving up big scores on special teams, it's going to be hard for any offense. They touched the ball once in the third quarter. So, right now I just, you're right, Hardy. I'm sick about the defense. They got to find a way to turn it around. And there's just not really the personnel waiting in the wings. Like, we just get this guy back. Unfortunately, they're going to have to figure it out themselves.
All right. So I came away with 3 points about the Patriots in general. Number one is I'm not concerned because I don't really think it matters, but Mayo's longevity as a coach, and people are talking crap after games now, and that was brewing for a while. And like you said, like the Texans game and the Jaguars game and the Jets game, teams, when they get up a couple of scores against the Patriots, really put it in neutral. Like, you can just run against the Patriots and just be satisfied killing clock. Because you know they're not going to come back, which has got to be the hardest thing as a coach to watch, because at the NFL level, regardless of talent, teams shouldn't just be able to run 5-6 yards a clip at you up the middle. Like, they just shouldn't be able to do that all the time. Like, you have guys that played major college football. They're being paid to be there. They're large. You should be able to navigate a plan when they go, we're running, and you go, I know, to stop it. All right. So are you concerned at all about it's easy to lose a locker room in the NFL. We know this. Are you at all concerned about Mayo's ability to keep this together this season?
Oh, great rant, Fred. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, they run it like 18 straight times at one point, and that's, like you said, we know they're running it. They know they're running it. And they don't care. And I mean, how many times there was just so much space inside? They were dominating the line of scrimmage. They were winning. And I mean, I think you can see it on the coach's face of just, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing fancy. There's no big scheme that they're doing. They're just lining up and pushing you back. So, I mean, that's a huge concern. And I mean, I think you heard Mayo say it last night. We're a soft team, and that's, I think, the core of it. I mean, it's kind of a cliche of stopping the run in the game, but if you can't stop the run, you can't get off the field. You can't give your quarterback more chances to, make plays. And I think that's what's a little bit frustrating, is you feel like you almost have a little bit with Drake May, where maybe they can come from behind a little bit with this kid. Maybe they can have a couple explosive plays. I mean, that, final scoring drive they had where it was like bing, bang, boom. All right, well, that makes you feel a little bit better about some of these games where they've gotten into holes. But like you said, if they can't get off the field, he's not even getting the chance to get the reps to develop. So I think the run defense is got to be the first thing that they've got to try to figure out a way to fix. And again, they don't really have anyone to turn to. They're already spinning the dial with the personnel.
Okay, so the second point of the three is that Bill Belichick should never get another job in the NFL. That this is, like you just said, this roster is a disaster. He won 4 games with a better roster and a third-year quarterback last year. So don't give me he was magical and this is all Mayo's fault and they didn't do anything to improve the team. The team sucked last year too. So yeah. I mean, does this team's performance hurt Belichick's chance of getting a coaching job next year?
I don't think so. I mean, I still kind of think some team's going to get desperate and want that to come in and change their whole narrative. I still feel like he'll get one, but it's just tough with both sides pointing the finger at each other about. I mean, look, there was a bunch of bad drafts that got us to this point. And unfortunately, a lot of the moves that they made this offseason haven't really paid off right now. The draft class, other than Drake May, is kind of struggling, is banged up. So, I think it's all goes together. And when you get to this point where you're 1-6 and you're losing 6 games in a row, it's not just point the finger at this guy or that guy. No question. I think we talked plenty about on our shows about the drafts that they missed, the high round talent that they just couldn't seem to stack. And it seems like now they've got maybe a couple of those guys with May and maybe Gonzalez, but it's not enough right now. They need more, no question. And I think, coming into the season, we all just kind of assumed that the defense would be okay, but you take Barmore out, you take Judon out, all of a sudden you don't really have pass rush. So, you pull one thread and the rest is kind of falling apart. So I think that's the problem. It feels like whack-a-mole right now, where it feels like maybe the offensive line is improving a little bit, but alas, there you go. You give up a punt return touchdown, and what difference does it make? All
right. And the third and final point that I'll make is that you got to be excited about Drake May. If you watch the NFL, I mean, he's can extend plays, which is necessary. Anyone who says it's not, watch your boy on the Jets. It's necessary to extend plays. He's obviously got the arm, but beyond that, beyond that, Chris, this doesn't. He hasn't been overwhelmed. He doesn't look lost. He doesn't look scared. He makes mistakes. Every quarterback does, and he's a kid. But the most important thing to me, beyond the physical traits, is that he has never looked panicky or like this is too fast for him, as a rule.
Yeah, really even keeled. I mean, you almost want him to show a little bit more excitement sometimes, I think. But look, if you're going to point to something to feel good about yesterday, it was, him coming out and looking in week 2 like he made some real progress. I know, look, there were a couple balls that maybe got away from him that, maybe should have been picked off too. But to come out of the second game with no turnovers after what it looked like the first week, I agree with everything you're saying. He's got enough athleticism to squeak out and pick up those yards. Those are always killers on third down. So really excited about his development. I mean, they got this friggin' Ben Brown rookie center, not rookie, but, journeyman center coming in and doing okay in front of him. So, yeah, that's the big piece right now. You feel good. They got to find something else. They got to find another receiver to step up and complement Hunter Henry, who can't do it all himself. We saw yesterday, Douglas was sick. He wasn't effective. So they need someone else in that wide receiver room to step up and make more plays. But it's all on Drake right now. Just like that, all of a sudden the narrative is like, this kid's good, but it feels like we're putting it all on him right now.
They have one win right now. How many wins will they have at the end of the season?
I mean, playing like they've been playing, it's hard to find the next few. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be an 8-9 win season by any stretch of the imagination. But, when the defense can't get off the field, they can't stop the run. Even when they get the third down, they can't get the stops. They can't pressure the quarterback. I mean, it's really hard to put it on Drake May that Drake May is going to lead us to, a couple more wins. Certainly, Tennessee coming up. There are some games that you would at least look at paper and say they should have a chance. But, hard to tell you, I'm a defense guy. And after seeing how that defense played right now, they have to turn around. They have to play way better for them to be able to even, get to that second win. Maybe it comes here in the next few weeks with some of these matchups, but I'm sure the Jets are coming in this weekend. They're not going to be happy, and they're going to be, looking for some.
Don't worry about the Jets, Mike. Come on, you're doing this all wrong. Jets win at Tennessee, win at Chicago, win. Then you're back home. Rams, nothing. Win. You go to Miami. Tua's probably going to be out again. Win. They're winning the next 5. It's fine. Colts
I love
win.
It.
Probably win.
Cardinals win.
They'll probably beat the Jets. I bet you they do beat the Jets.
I believe
they might lose to the Bills in Buffalo. That's the only loss I see in the next 7.
That's stupid.
No.
The Jets getting destroyed by a team with Russell Wilson as quarterback.
It's disheartening. Love to think that they'd have love to see they can put something together this week against that team. But every single one of these games is going to be a grind. And until the defense starts getting off the field and giving Drake some more chances, then maybe we'll see something. Maybe we'll see those games like way back when in the 90s at the end of Bledsoe's rookie year. He started, really starting to click, and you felt excited going into next season. It's got to be more than just Drake May this year.
Mike, is the team back in the building today?
I believe so. They got in late last night. I think the players probably in this afternoon. I know we're going to talk to Mayo here coming up at 9:00, so we'll hear from him and see how they're going to regroup.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Dussault, Mike Dussault.
That's his name.
I know. I said Matt, Chris. I said
Deuce.
everything.
Deuce. You know what Mike
People
told me
call you
yesterday?
Deuce?
When Adam reaches out to him, he says, "Hey, it's 12," and it Mike, it took you a moment to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. I got a text from him.
I usually throw the Adam in there too because I'm still the new guy. Apologies, Mr. Dussault. Apologies, Deuce.
No, yeah, all good. No, I just I've never gotten a text from a number before, and I was a little confused for a second. That's all.
Yeah. So he was making fun of you, Adam. Is basically a long way of going that they were teasing you.
I can take it.
Mike's a good person. He's not like us.
No, well, the fact that he came up, he was probably like, "Who's this a-hole that keeps sending me 12?" And then he was like, "Oh, that's Adam. He's a real piece of crap." And then the two of them started going in. That's how my brain works. That's how I assume everyone's talking about me, and I'm assuming correctly. Mike Dussault. Well, listen, you got Hardy, and I don't know any reason why you shouldn't be back next week. And all right, so enjoy yourself, and check it all out at Patriots.com. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, there you go. Mike, Chris, Matt.
Whatever.
I just know his name's Dussault.
Yeah, call him Deuce.
That's all I need to know.
There you go.
My dog's name is Deuce.
Oh.
Right, you should be easy to remember.
You know the good story I have about the guy who used to clean up 99X at night? Real brief story?
Yeah.
Do you know it? All right, so I won't tell it.
Yeah, you've told. Yes, you've told me about that guy.
Okay, so the guy comes in, he cleans the thing, and it's probably, I'm doing nights, it's probably about 2001. Guy's coming in, I'm like, "What's up, dog?" And I'm like, what up, G? What up, dog? What up, dog? What up, dog? And then one day he comes in, he goes, "I know what you do." And I go, "What's that?" He goes, "You call me dog. You're calling me a dog." And I'm like, no, it's a term of endearment. And I mean, why they say that? I mean, he couldn't understand that I was complimenting him by saying dog. he thought I was calling him like a dog. And so I started answering the phone going, hey, what's up, dog? And people would be like, hey, what's up, dog? And I was trying to prove to him.
Right.
But nothing sunk
We
in.
will not die like dogs.
Yeah, he was not happy with me, and I didn't know what to do because I hadn't done anything wrong. But sometimes there's cultural barriers, language and cultural barriers, and we have to get through.
But you still have fun.
But we still have fun, and you know what? He was.
And you got to be good friends, and you stay in contact with him to this day.
I was 26 years, probably 24 years old when I met him, and
that
when I got married when I was 30, he was my best man.
Yeah, and his name, Billy Jaffe.
How about that?
Yep.
Met him in
no
Atlanta.
idea.
Billy Jaffe struggled with the language. He was from suburban Illinois, suburban Chicago.
But spoke with a Canadian accent.
Because he insisted on acting more Canadian. And then he also is like, my kid, he's not going to, don't worry about him playing hockey. He doesn't do it. He's doing boxing lessons at 4 o'clock in the morning and playing in Norway right now.
Well, we're not taking this seriously.
We're not taking it seriously.
overseas.
By the way, that kid's in like boarding school now. It's a whole
I know.
thing. Like, yeah, but he's not taking it seriously.
Calling us from Quebec.
Yeah,
you know, in the parking lot of some tournament he drove his kid to.
There's nothing Billy takes more seriously than his son's hockey career. I can assure you of that. All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Tell him.
Dutcher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel. This band or group, A Tribe Called Quest, is going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think Andre 3000 might be introducing them, I'm not sure, but if you wonder why Andre 3000 has a flute album where he actually is playing the flute, it is because of A Tribe Called Quest. A Tribe Called Quest is their jazz samples, as you just heard there.
Yeah,
were a big influence to him, and we were not going to play it. That happened for a reason. We're not going to play it, but I do want to say one thing. A listener was very cool. I'll say his name later in the show when I look it up. But he sent us. He had a hard drive with all this stuff from WBCN on it, and Hardy, Adam, and I were all friends and all worked at WBCN together, and we had a guy on the show by the name. Let's see how well John can deduce. We had a guy on the show that we used to call in, and not won't. But it was more of a. I can hear you, Adam, unless you have the mic on. We had a guy named the Chili Guy that would call in, and there's a lot of references to the WBCN show, so it's no point in playing it. It doesn't really go anywhere. But Adam put him on. Chili Guy was like a big hit with everyone because he was, after all, Philadelphia 76. And it's all about how he was. Cadolfo was supposed to get him Super Bowl tickets,
right?
But because I already told you, but so Chili Guy is calling Adam. What you know about Adam? Mm-hmm. What do you think? And just to ruin everything, what do you think Adam, in his 3-minute phone call with the Chili Guy, suggested he should do?
To get to a shelter.
Oh, John Wally!
Did you hear me tell Hardy that?
Very easy to deduce when you hear the conversation.
Oh, I thought I was going to. But well, fair enough. You remembered something though, and So the Chili Guy, dragon. Yeah, he was a dragon. The Chili Guy was this guy all the time, and so Adam, of course, being Adam, here's the Chili Guy's got a cough. A listener hands Chili Guy the phone and calls into the station. Adam answers the phone. He obviously tapes the phone call. He's talking to the Chili Guy, and the Chili Guy got a little cough. So Adam, in all the radio instinct he has in him, says, "Hey, you sound like you're getting sick. Why don't you get to a shelter?"
Yeah.
Which, A, is not even nice to the Chili Guy, because the Chili Guy is telling you that he's got all this money to buy Super Bowl tickets, and he's supposed to get Super Bowl tickets, but he doesn't know because he's going to see the 76ers. So the Chili Guy's like wheeling and dealing on the phone with Adam, and Adam, he's like, where's Cadolfo? Like, Cadolfo's got the tickets. All right. He's like, good Chili Guy mood. And Adam goes, yeah, because I'm going to be going to 76ers out of town, never in 3 weeks, And then Adam goes, hey, you got a cough. Why don't you go to a shelter? Like, thereby going, like, I know you're homeless. Stop this charade and go to a shelter. You realize how that was almost mean what you did.
Chili, I understand we're having a great conversation about you getting on the Peter Pan bus to go to the Super Bowl, but have you thought about counseling?
Yeah, exactly. like let the guy have some fun.
Terrible instincts. You know what I'm thinking?
Not even for the radio, though, but just, it's not even, nice.
All I can think of is all I can think of I was because what did you say? It was because I remember the phone call. I remember the guy calling me and saying I got Chili Guy, but I don't remember how long. You said it's like 3 minutes?
It's like 3.5 minutes.
All I can think of is I probably had a break coming up.
No, but you don't
going to get him off the phone.
No, it's not how you get him off the phone. It's not.
Okay.
You're spending all kinds of time. It's like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 3.5, 4 minutes.
I was also aware too of not wanting to do too much with the Chili Guy because it wasn't my bit.
But
you know what
Adam,
I mean?
that has nothing to do with it.
I'm just trying to get into the headspace. That
No, the headspace was, oh no, a homeless person. Please go to a shelter. Meanwhile, there's
I knew the chili. I mean, I knew we by that time we all knew the chili
of course
guy
you
was.
did.
Yeah.
That's why you took him. No, you're talking him correctly. You're like, yeah, Adolfo's not here. He's not at work right now. Like, and you're like, how you doing? And he's. But the reason he says he calls you is because Adolfo has got his Super Bowl tickets, and he's got the money, and he's wheeling and dealing, but he's got to go to the 76ers game. There's a bunch of stuff. You should listen to it off air.
I will.
And there's the 76ers game, and then it might be worth for tomorrow, Hardy, just pulling the part where he says he should go to the shelter.
Okay, we can do that. And I don't know where, but this is weird. Now that you bring up the phone call, the length of the phone call, I don't know where this guy got it. Michael, I won't say his last name. Michael's emailed a few times here in the last week or so. Good dude. Thank you for this. But there's no way you aired this phone call.
No. I remember getting the phone call, and I remember I might have aired a piece of it. I don't remember at the time. Was Fred? Was your show on in the afternoon or the morning? Because I remember
morning at that point.
Okay, at that point, because
you said we were home.
Okay. Because I was like, I remember wanting the phone call, and then I remember immediately letting you guys know, hey, there's a chili guy called into me. Today I saved the phone call. It's here on Vox Pro. You guys can use it tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So
I do. Actually, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not as brain dead as I thought.
Yeah.
But it is funny. And tomorrow we have to do it because a lot of you don't know, like, Adam from, doing all his radio shows, but you don't know Adam as the philanthropic, not so much with money, but with time and good intentions.
Hey, listen, there was a reason you guys were doing the big morning show and I was doing middays. Let's just.
Oh, shut up! I didn't say it was a bad break. I said that it's very funny to me.
It's the instincts thing.
It's not even about the radio. It's just so in your personality. Yeah. It's nothing about that you ruined the call or it was a bad call.
Okay.
None of that.
Okay.
That's not it. What's so funny to me is that you go, it's just you're being Adam, like, oh, you got a cough. You should go to a shelter. But which is not even for the radio or for who the chili guy was. He was homeless. It's just that it's funny because it's mean. And you're trying to be nice. But it's actually mean. Because you're cutting through all this facade he's telling you about how he's rich and traveling and going, and he knows this guy and that guy, and you're just like, cut the crap. You got a cold. Get yourself to a shelter. That's all. It was mean.
Well, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We get a couple open blocks tomorrow.
Not for long. When this brain gets John's deducing all over the place, and then we should play a game called Can John Deduce?
I actually have a game idea for tomorrow, but it's not that. Actually, maybe it can be.
But then would John get too offended if he cannot deduce?
Actually, I do have a game that I was planning on pitching after the show today that would involve you, John. So
he doesn't like it.
But no, it won't be about
deduction.
He'll
follow you home.
It'll be a game that John I think will do very well.
John, why don't you like games?
It's no opinion like that. I've played many games. There've been 90210 quizzes at my. There have been plenty of games that I've participated in.
I don't think he would like one to see if you could deduce, though. It's like when we
that's the vibe I'm getting.
That's the vibe I'm getting. Hardy's afraid that he pissed you off, John.
No.
He is.
Gave you that
he said off the air that you think, well, I think he kind of annoyed you with the whole deduction thing.
No, it's clear conjecture on your part.
Well, no.
Have you deduced that I'm angry at you?
See?
Well done.
No.
Be Real, who was our producer at the time, says Adam's instincts go to a shelter so Adolfo can never find you again and doesn't have content. All right, very good. And that's not even what I'm talking about. He's like, I'm going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I had the 76 a game, but I got never $10 million. Yeah, get yourself to a shelter. You're lying. All right, very good. We'll be back in just a moment around the NFL.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Enjoy all the NFL.
that's where the good news ended in a 32-16 loss at Wembley Stadium. Christian Gonzalez and the defense were good early and then not good after that.
Felt like we had good energy. Like I said, I feel like we started fast when the offense came out, 2 drives, boom, boom. So, I think that we started fast. I think we had energy, but like I said earlier, we just didn't finish.
Tank Bigsby ran for 118 yards and 2 scores for the Jaguars, and Parker Washington added a 96-yard punt return for a score as the Jaguars led 22-10 at the break and never looked back. Drake May, 276 yards passing and 2 touchdowns for the Patriots in the loss. They are 1-6. They'll play the Jets in Foxborough on Sunday. Jets got blown out as well last night, 37-15 in Pittsburgh. They're now 2-5. In other Jets news, holdout Hassan Reddick will report to the team this morning after agreeing to play for his existing contract yesterday. In other NFL news, Deshaun Watson is out for the season for Cleveland. He tore his Achilles yesterday. It'll be the Dodgers against the Yankees in the 2024 World Series. LA won the National League pennant in 6 games last night, beating the Mets 10-5. And the Tampa Bay Rays director of predictive modeling, Taylor Smith, is reportedly being hired by the Red Sox as an assistant GM. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Bentley University, where good business begins and leaders come to learn. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go. Boom. I win. Kaboom. Yeah. Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
He's elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Around the NFL with Toucher and Hardy.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Jesse Ventura, thank you so much for the voiceover. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us. Oh, God, can you watch us on YouTube? Smash the subscribe button. I did. And now little videos that have like 3 views come up on my algorithm on YouTube. And then it's depressing. Because like only 3 people watch that video. But nonetheless, get involved with that. And know that we're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, where are we starting with this segment, Harvey?
We'll start with Sunday Night Football as Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets were in Pittsburgh to play Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson back playing quarterback.
Quarterback sneak, Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson, no signal yet. Officials have not called anything yet. Spencer Anderson says it's a touchdown. And now the officials agree. Yeah, Spencer Anderson says, that's right. We know it was a touchdown, and it is a touchdown.
A lot of back and forth, a lot of...
not so much.
Well, early on, because there were things happening in the game like that Russell Wilson touchdown, you weren't sure. And then, your head coach there, Fred, for your New York Jets, tried to challenge a play call on the goal line where he thought the Jets got a touchdown.
Yeah, you thought Brees Hall got a touchdown. Who told him to throw that flag, you wonder?
I don't know.
Who was gesturing wildly for him to throw the flag?
Was it Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers.
And he is going to challenge. He dropped the flag before he could throw it, so Rodgers instead runs the play, and it's a touchdown to Conklin. Tyler Conklin in the end zone on the touchdown pass from Rodgers. Jeff Ulbrich dropped the flag as he was trying to throw it.
It's a touchdown. The challenge flag came out after the snap.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness. The best play of his coaching career.
Yeah, they were up 15-3. Everything looked great. He gave the defense a 2-score lead. Why not? You're in business now, fellas.
In case you're wondering, and Fred, did you stay up for this whole game last night?
I stayed up except for the last 4 minutes. I didn't watch the last 4 minutes.
Steelers go on to win 37-15, and now Rodgers, he's not paying attention.
How do you get everybody to keep the belief? And it seems like a lot of the same mistakes.
Stop listening to you guys. Number one.
Yeah, Aaron, you suck.
You're 2-5.
Yeah, you blow. Like, you're not good at quarterback. In all this, like, the Jets line sucks, whatever. He can't move. He can't extend plays. And the Jets line was good yesterday. He was sacked once. Aaron Rodgers is not a good quarterback. He misses throws. He throws bad interceptions. He's turned Garrett Wilson into a bad receiver who I think they should trade and get a first-round pick for him.
Teams have been calling the Jets about him.
And they should trade him. The Jets are an unmitigated disaster, and the entire fault of it is Aaron Rodgers.
So we're going to blow it up and start over.
I don't want to start over, but I think that you with a real coach and a real program and just a guy, you could at least fight to be 500.
So Rodgers gone, head coach Ulbrich gone, GM gone.
Yeah, Joe Douglas gone.
Yeah.
And then bring in hopefully bring in guys who know what they're doing. Douglas isn't even that bad a GM, but bring in guys that know what they're doing. I actually don't even care if they get rid of Douglas. He drafts so well. But, I mean, even the kid, the end that they got that in the first round that everyone thought was going to suck, once everyone got hurt, he's got 8 sacks. Like Will McDonald, he's a really good GM, I think. I just think the owner sucks. Maybe Woody Johnson sells the team.
The Jets will be here at Gillette Stadium on Sunday to take on the Patriots.
Jets
I'll be there for the big loss.
A touchdown favorite, by the way.
Oh, hooray.
Ah, there you go.
And by the way, even if the Jets win that game, great. That's great stuff. Then they're 3-5. And you beat the Patriots twice.
Mathematically, it can be done. Mathematically, teams have gone to the playoffs after starting 2-5.
In a 17-game schedule, you'd have to go basically 5-3, 5-2 for the 7-3 for the rest of the season to make the playoffs, probably. They're not winning the division. They're 3.5 games down to the division.
That's right. All right, Super Bowl rematch yesterday.
So they suck, so congratulations to everyone.
Between the Chiefs and the 49ers.
You got what you wanted. You broke my boy's heart.
Chiefs, one of the undefeated teams left in the NFL going into yesterday's games. Visiting San Francisco, they got a 14-6 lead.
I'm in San Francisco.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo, boys.
Chiefs have a 14-6 lead at halftime, and then San Francisco made their presence known a little bit.
Yeah, they did. Were they peacocking?
Alert at the line. Oscar, let's see what they're doing here. Purdy off the left side. Purdy plunge. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Yeah, he's just faking it at that point. I heard a lot of that game with that guy calling it. Purdy was terrible. Purdy was absolutely awful, and the 49ers were never in it. And so any touchdown he's going nuts about was an afterthought.
Purdy lost his top 3 wide receivers. That's the other part of it. Samuel started, played 3 snaps, and was worthless. Ayuk tore his ACL middle of the game.
Yeah, that was bad. But also, Patrick Mahomes, not great. He was 16 of 27 for 154 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, but he did have a touchdown.
4th down, less than a yard for a touchdown. Mahomes takes the snap and wants to throw it. He'll step up into the pocket, flag on the play. Mahomes is into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
That was a Tom Brady game where he was surprised that Mahomes was in the shotgun and ended up taking in the end zone himself. I'm trying to convince myself that Brady is somehow good at this, or at the very least getting better at it. It's just
no. He's not going to be a color analyst anymore.
No, he's going to be hamstrung by his ownership with the Raiders.
No.
You can't say things.
No, he can't do it anymore. He can't. He can't call out officiating. He can't talk negatively about other teams. Fox
can't be in meetings with the other teams in their building ahead of time.
like Fox had to have had something in that contract, unless they were so hell bent on signing him, because these networks are oftentimes dumb because everything is business and nothing is about the product. Unless they had to have been a stipulation, knowing his interest in buying into the Raiders, that they could get out of that contract.
Yeah, that Brady's interest in purchasing part of that franchise was known before he signed that contract.
Exactly. So there has to be something in that contract that lets him out of it, because I got news for you. Brady has got nothing. There's no spark. Remember when Romo blows, but remember before Romo lost his mind, how much people talked about it, and like Tony Romo was like an event. Mm-hmm. This isn't, by the way, like Monday Night Football with Cosell and Gifford. And, this hasn't taken over the public consciousness. This isn't even Monday Night Football with Kornheiser and Miller.
No, and one of the indications that it's not setting the world on fire is they're still running promos for him calling the games. Like, hey, Tom Brady, no one thought I could do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, no one thought they were right.
You're already doing it, and people they're kind of unmoved by the whole thing.
Yeah, you're not good. You're boring. And it's not even that you're atrocious. You're just not good. And now I would actively choose not to watch you doing a game, because I know you can't say anything. Like, anyone who follows the NFL closely at all knows that he bought into the Raiders and knows that he can't say stuff Or I would hope you would, because if not, you're going to go, why is he being so iffy? Like if there's like a pass interference, that's a terrible call.
Yeah.
Or like a roughing the passer, that's a terrible call. And he just sits there and goes, well, officiating's hard to do. Like, you're not going to – that's a terrible thing that the audience is going to realize. So now he's an albatross that you're paying all that money to. He stinks.
Yeah, I don't know why you're going to go out of your way to watch a guy who is not going to be able to say things that other guys are. What are you going to hear him say? Like, oh, Steve Spagnuolo, yeah, that guy gave me nightmares. Okay, oh, yeah, that's right, you played.
Oh, he did say that yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he said it. I heard him say it, but I'm like, did he?
Yeah.
And I also don't get, like, I'm watching the game to hear Tom Brady talk. Go, watch a bunch of old interviews on YouTube. You're going to watch a game that you're not interested in, or watch a bad game over a good game because Tom Brady's in the booth. You can't even see him. So if your big thing is like you get off on seeing Brady, you don't see him, and his voice sucks. So I don't understand really what the appeal is.
All right, let's talk about. So the Chiefs, by the way, remain undefeated, 6-0. They don't necessarily look like a 6-0 football team, but they are.
Yeah, but they have a quarterback and a coach, which is in a defense. Quarterback, coach, and defense.
Do just enough. Mahomes didn't play well at all, but it doesn't matter.
But he got funky at the goal line, though. He did a little maneuver. Did you see that thing that he did when the touchdown he ran in? He did a funky little stutter. Yeah.
Well,
it was the San Francisco shuffle.
Where were they playing?
They were playing, he was like, yo, boys. Because they're in San Francisco.
Fred. It's good.
Yeah, I'm hot today.
The other undefeated team going into yesterday's action, the Minnesota Vikings, and had a good shot at beating the visiting Detroit Lions after this.
Off play action again. No, in fact, they're going to hand this one off. It's picked up by Ivan Pace Jr. inside the 10. Touchdown!
Oh, Allen. Paul Allen.
Mm-hmm.
29-28, that made it for Minnesota. Lions with the ball back, and here the announcers are saying, "Oh, they're not hurrying up. They're taking too much time.
Oh my God!
They're going to take it down to the 2 minute. What are they doing? What are they doing?" And I'm yelling at the TV. They know what they're doing. Do you know how many times Jared Goff and the Lions have been in this position? They know how to manage the clock at the end of a game when they're down, because that's how they play half their games.
Yeah,
playing from behind with 2 minutes to go. You don't think they've been in this situation before?
Were they down 2 or 3 at the time? 2.
They were down 1.
1. Oh, 1. Okay.
29-28.
Whatever. So a field goal wins it. So, but they don't want Minnesota to get the ball back. I said this to Mile yesterday. It's funny because whoever's the color guy in it was carrying on about how it was carrying on like why are they taking their time? They're taking too much time. So then they get 2 big chunk plays. Now they're like on the 30. They're on Minnesota's 35. So now this idiot starts going backtracking and talking about why he was saying all of that and how the 2 chunk plays negate what he was saying. But he usually thinks you shouldn't start taking your time until you cross the 50, which it was idiocy.
And seriously, how do the Lions move the football? By dinking and dunking and picking up 2 yards at a time? No, you're going to find Amon-Ra St. Brown for 20 yards, and you're going to pick it up in huge games.
Well, Hardy, they ran the ball. They ran Gibbs up the middle the first play of that drive. Like, they had every intention of running that clock down.
They were running the clock, and they were doing it for a reason.
Yes,
is what we were all yelling
so because
about.
they didn't want the Vikings, because a field goal, you're up 2, and the Vikings can win the game.
Yes.
Obviously, like, you don't want to give Vikings the ball back.
All right, did it work for the Lions?
Jake Bates with a 44-yard attempt, hash mark right side to give the Lions the lead. He's ready. There's the snap. There's the spot. Kick away. It is up, and it is good! Jake Bates sends it through. With 15 seconds to go, the Lions have taken the lead. It is Detroit 31 and the Vikings 29.
That would be your final from Minnesota.
Yeah, the Lions are the best team in football. If everything stays the same, they should win the Super Bowl. They're just so much better than any other team I've seen. So much better.
Jared Goff did not have an incompletion until the middle of the third quarter.
Jared Goff is playing like the MVP of the NFL, by the way.
22 of 25, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Really one of these guys that you can build around because he's a winner, man. He will find a way to win. He'll find a way to put the offense in position to win the game. He doesn't get frazzled. He's tough. He's competitive. He's reliable.
It's amazing what's happened to him in the last 3 years.
The week before he was 18
Really?
against Dallas, he was 18 for 25 for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's been unbelievable.
The Rams crumpled him up and threw him away, and look what's happened to him. It's
They got a
amazing.
Super Bowl out of it, so it's a
They
rare
did,
trade that
but-
worked for everyone. But that trade, getting rid of Stafford, and this goes against people's narratives of how to run a team.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Stafford while he could still play and getting Goff back in that trade and all those picks are why the Lions should win the Super Bowl this year.
That and they know how to draft.
Well, no, their drafts have been insane. Yeah, they have the best GM in football. Like, their drafts are insane. What did I tell you the other day? Like, the draft from 2001 or 2001, they've now extended 5 of them. Like, it's St. Brown, the first was
2021.
The 2021 draft. They extend St. Brown. They've extended. I don't know. Whoever they took in the first
drafted
round.
Laporta. They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. By the way, unusual to draft a running back.
They
in the
drafted
first
a middle
round.
linebacker in the first round because they had multiple picks. They got in that Stafford deal.
Well, we mentioned Brandon Ayuk's injury in the 49ers game a few minutes ago. A couple other injuries we'll get to as we continue here and go around the NFL.
Yeah, not the world's greatest slate of games yesterday, but we will get through. And everyone should feel good because the New York Jets that had so much promise are now could be in the top 5 of the draft. And they could they should get Shadur Sanders and bring him in that environment.
That would be awesome.
No, it would not be.
It would be awesome.
My son's never consciously seen them be a winning team. Like, never since he's been like able to watch and understand it has he seen them be a winning team. It's starting. I'm getting old enough that I'm starting to Beningo it. I'm not going to see them win a Super Bowl. Like, I'm afraid I'm never going to see them be good again. That's my real issue. Woody Johnson will die soon, thankfully. But I don't know. He's rich, so he'll probably live to be 95. So he might own this team for another 12, 13 years. All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy as we continue to go around the NFL. Hardy, what's next?
All right, some injuries yesterday. Deshaun Watson, as the Cleveland Browns were home taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Deshaun stumbles. Deshaun gets up. Ball comes out. Deshaun writhing in pain as well.
That was a non-contact. That looked almost like an Achilles or a knee. Just gave out on him completely.
And Deshaun is down.
You could see it. That's Achilles. The pop right there.
Deshaun Watson's right calf. You can see it. Pop, shake. You know what this is. The card is out for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but I don't get the oof. Like, the thing is that...
Oh, no, just the idea of your Achilles popping and rolling up window blinds.
No, but that's the thing is that unless it's like a concussion or like a back or a neck, I mean, Achilles, you're going to live. You still get paid.
It's just gross to look at. You don't mind it?
Nah. Maybe that's the same reason I can sit in that cold tub for so long.
Oh, okay.
Toughness. But no, it doesn't bother me. But they're acting like it's a disaster. And just like the crowd booed Russell Wilson until he started hucking him up to Pickens last night, the Pittsburgh crowd was booing Wilson. A little controversy here, Hardy, as the crowd was cheering.
Cheering for the injury. Jameis Winston did not like that.
I was taught to love no matter the circumstances, especially for people who do right by you. I'm grateful that I had a chance to serve Deshaun, but I am very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he put his body and life on the line for this city. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down, but I will be the person to lift him up. And I pride myself in being a man of increase and being a man that wants the best out of everybody.
Okay. All right, first of all, he was getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to go out there. He had literally nothing to do with the city of Cleveland. His playing football, these guys really believe that they're doing, like, they've been told so
they're
much.
Like soldiers.
Do it for Cleveland. Do it for Cleveland. It's great. The people of Cleveland like that team. You're being compensated to do it. Stop acting like you're volunteering. And even if you were volunteering, he tore his Achilles. If everyone was cheering and he was laying comatose on the ground or doing that weird Tua thing with his arm.
Fencing,
and like he was like, the quality of his life was going to dramatically change. There was a chance he was never going to walk again or he was going to have brain damage. That would be horrible. Some guy you don't like his Achilles blowing up, who cares?
And also, I push back on the world is against you. No, you've got about 50 massage therapists against you. The rest of the world was cheering for you to come back and play football. People were all on board with him getting that contract. Great, Deshaun Watson, he's great at football. I'm going to watch him play football. This is cool. $70 million guaranteed. Come on, let's play some football. No, I don't know.
More than $70 million. It's $300 million.
How much is that? Oh, yeah. His says cap hit, I think, over the next.
It's 5 years, $230 million.
Yeah. So he's got a bunch of money coming his way, regardless of what happens. The world was not against Deshaun Watson. And now people are upset because, well, people were cheering. All right, that's a classless move. Fine, do whatever you want, Cleveland. But Myles Garrett upset about it, too.
Man does pretty much everything right. He's been a model citizen through college and most of the pros. He plays the game as hard as anyone I've seen.
Most of the pros. Most of the pros. He's been a model citizen.
These guys are out of their minds.
They're really so tone deaf. It's amazing. Again, I could see if he died, then you don't take shots at all this stuff. At least that would be, my moral line would be like if he died, he died on the field, it would be really bad. Guy hurt his Achilles tendon. He's still got $300 million guaranteed to him. He hasn't played well. That doesn't even matter. He keeps settling these weird massage things. Just don't say anything. The crowd, he's been done nothing but try to lift up the city of Cleveland. By doing what? By getting paid? That'd be like, Boston, I've been doing so much to try to lift you up by getting paid in here to make fun of things. It's ridiculous. Deshaun Watson would have taken that contract anywhere. Anything.
He will make $46 million next year and the year after that.
Yes, he's untradeable. It's considered the worst contract in the history of sports by some people.
I like the fact that he has a no-trade clause in the contract.
Of course he does.
Well, no, but the point is, it doesn't really matter. No one's trading that contract anyway.
What, you wouldn't pay
You can have as many no-trade clauses as you want. It doesn't matter.
You would wait. You think you're smarter than the ownership of Cleveland? That guy runs Flying J's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the guy who owns Cleveland's from Knoxville. He owns the Flying J empire of truck stops, famous for allegedly glory holes.
Huh.
Oh, I thought you had more on the glory holes.
Well, I mean, they're glorious. I mean, it's all there in the title.
There you go. All right.
Just tap with your foot. Let him just see the toes of your shoe.
Do you have to do that for a glory hole? I think you just.
No, you don't go in there uninvited.
Oh, I think you just poke and pray.
No.
Oh, all right.
Interesting.
All right.
I mean, you certainly don't want to know who's on the other side because that takes away the magic of it.
Another quarterback injury that is very few people cheering for. I don't think anybody really wanted to see this.
He came up feeling a bit of discomfort in that midsection after finishing the drive. Obviously, with that field goal, he came to the sideline with some obvious discomfort. Now we've got the athletic trainers working in that rib area. No official injury designation as of now, but he spent time immediately coming to the sideline with the athletic trainers, and now obviously some extra attention.
Jaden Daniels with the Commander.
Yeah, so Jaden Daniels, but you know what? He came out after the half in in gear. He didn't have a uniform on in gear.
Yeah.
And he pointed to the crowd and thumbs up.
Yep.
And said no problem. If they were winning like 77-0 at the time.
They were playing Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Andy Dalton was not having a good day. And the belief is that he even could have maybe even played, but he didn't play because they were playing Carolina, and better be safe than sorry. So at least it seems like he's not going to miss time.
Carolina against the Patriots. Who wins?
Ooh.
Patriots.
I tend to think that way too.
I think they have a quarterback advantage. If Andy Dalton plays like he did yesterday. Andy Dalton started off pretty hot. He was no good yesterday. What a schedule that Commanders team has too, huh? It's pretty tough. I mean, it's just heavyweight after heavyweight for that Commanders team. I mean, look at these wins. I mean, the Giants, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Panthers. I mean, this is a real murderer's row of teams to start the season.
And they got the Giants again coming up in a couple
they're
of
in that
weeks.
division.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's coming. The Bears and the Giants. Oh my.
Well, then they've got the Titans and Saints back-to-back weeks. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean that's a team that's going to make the playoffs and get beat by a good team by 77 points.
They're 5-2.
Yeah,
they're going to win high seed. They're going to have home field.
They're going to win the division.
Yeah.
Who's going to win that division? They're going to win that division.
Dallas isn't. That's for sure.
No. Dallas isn't winning that division. It's real.
All right, well, I'm not making an Eagles joke here. You're literally a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
No,
his wife.
My wife
that's
is.
Right. That's right.
But
Yes
hey, I'm not surprised why you would think so, considering she wears the pants of the family. My bad, John. I'm just ribbing you.
Anyway,
hey, audience. Sometimes you think when I take shots like that we're not friends, but trust me, that was done with permission from the family.
When's the last time you spoke with John's wife? Was it over the weekend or last week?
We do by postcard.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly.
My wife's a big fan of yours.
Yeah, she loves me.
Loves you.
Most co-hosts. Spouses are big fans of mine.
Is she not a fan of Fred?
Oh, she loves Fred. She asks me every day when I get home, so how's Fred? Every day.
I can tell you that no one who I worked with, wife, has ever liked me. Because they always feel like, why does he get tagged like that? Like, why does he get tagged like that?
Oh, yeah.
That's not
fair.
what my wife says.
What does she say?
She loves Fred. She's like, how's Fred doing? I understand. He's dating again. How's that going?
Oh, it's going so well.
Wants to make sure you're doing all right.
I have so much time.
Well, I bring up your wife's Philadelphia Eagles because they were playing the New York Giants yesterday. Daniel Jones, not a great day. ended up being benched. Brian Daboll.
Made a change in the fourth quarter when it was 28-3. We had 100 yards just to create a spark. Daniel will be the quarterback going forward. But obviously we didn't do enough offensively. Hardly had any yards, no points.
Yeah. If they fire him, I want the Jets to hire him. If the Giants make that mistake and just keep churning through coaches and blame Daboll for all this, I would love it if he would coach the Jets. And if I was the Crafts, I'd fire Mayo and bring in Daboll too.
New York Giants 2-5. Who wins, Patriots or Giants?
Giants.
I think the Giants.
I think the Giants better be close.
Giants have played better, in my opinion.
Not the last 2 weeks.
No. Well, Daniel Jones. Not.
I mean, that Bengals game was pretty close. You think that if this point in the season, the Patriots played the Bengals at 17-7, this point of the season.
Yeah, the Bengals have found themselves. What are they, 3-4, 4-3?
Yeah, they're going to be the team that keeps the Jets out of the playoffs.
Yes.
No, they might score more, but I think the Bengals would score 24 easily.
Giants have 10 points combined the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's a Daniel Jones problem. But, I mean, it is certainly debatable, and I'm sure there's people that are fans of the team that would disagree. I just think that Daboll's a good coach and shouldn't be blamed for that team just not having a quarterback.
Well, Daniel Jones is frustrated.
Yeah, it was frustrating. You want to be out there playing with your teammates and fighting to score points and move the ball. And, yeah, so I was frustrated. Yeah, but not my decision. Yeah, frustrating for sure, and want to be out there playing.
Where's the weird Asians kid? The Italian kid.
Oh, Tommy Cutlet, Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, that they immediately said, oh, by the way, he loves Italian food. And then he would do appearances. His agents had him, the weird agent from here, had him doing appearances legitimately at delis.
Stellato, yeah.
During the season.
I know.
On the off day, he'd be like, Tommy, I got you a $250 gig at Pamini's.
But now I'm going to call him up and say it's $10,000, and then the pizza place is going to go public with that, and things are going to go south for you before they even started going north.
If you're Tommy DeVito, wouldn't you think that the best shot is what would you rather get? Make $10,000 during the season, showing up like a loser at restaurants and doing signings, or being a third-string quarterback in the NFL for 5-6 years? I'd rather be the third-string quarterback in the NFL for 5-6 years.
Yes.
I mean, you're chasing pocket change for something. Do card signings in the offseason.
Like everybody else.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And why, certain Italian guys all of a sudden, have to be, at Italian restaurants and pizza places? There's probably, 600 Italian guys playing in the NFL. Why, someone or Italian descent, maybe that's a high number, but certainly in the hundreds.
Yeah. And
why DeVito?
I don't know, but I think, certainly I don't think anybody is offended by it, but if it were, let's just say, other people going to other restaurants, I think people would automatically and say, this is kind of offensive. If you have an Asian NFL player, it's do you immediately start sending them to Chinese food restaurant appearances?
It is funny how we do that with races. It's just interesting. Well, I guess Italian's not a racist ethnicity.
One more bit of drama from the game yesterday. Saquon Barkley jerseys being burned in the parking lot at MetLife Stadium.
That was crazy. I mean, I've seen my jersey get burned before over on social media, but the timing of it, I'm locked in. I'm listening to my music. Yeah, that was definitely different. I don't know if I've ever experienced anything like that in my life, and hopefully I don't experience that again. But in that moment, I was ready for 3rd and 1. Let's just say that.
Why would they burn jersey?
You know what we need to do today? Someone needs to do this is WIP. We need to monitor WIP. No. I'm sorry, they won. So that's not a good idea.
We did it last week. Did they lose last week?
No, we did it a couple weeks ago, and it was
we listened, and it wasn't as good as we thought. Adam 12 listened to it, and he said,
I will absolutely. The next time they lose, though, I absolutely will monitor again and try to get some, because the people do call in, and they let the callers take a long time on the air. But there was nothing that was crazy, unhinged Philly fan worth.
Okay, because
sharing.
Philadelphia, when they call in national shows, they get very, very specific about the plays they did not like, and they are not scoring plays or 2-point conversion controversies. They're like
It's
second quarter,
second and
third.
6.
They're like second quarter, second down, first down plays. You know, in the second quarter, they ran on first down 2 possessions in a row. What's Sirianni's an idiot? I mean, if I know you're going to run on first down, you've done it the possession before, now you're going to do it again? I mean, get your head examined. This guy doesn't belong in the NFL.
On a screen on a 2nd and 7, I want Sirianni dead.
And they're giving up. I mean, what are you paying Hurts for? I mean, I think you can't throw the ball downfield. If you got AJ Brown, you can catch anything in a 7-mile radius. You know what? And it's funny because the guys that call National Sports Talk Radio just are so dumb. Like, the points they're making are so stupid that, and you're like, this is like your favorite thing. Like, this is your favorite thing, and you know nothing about it. It's nonsense. You're calling, this is what you do. You call this on a regular basis. You follow this so much.
It's what you follow. You spend all your time thinking about it, and
you say things just for so the host can sound smart when he tells you how dumb you are. It's a very interesting dynamic. That's why we're so good to our phone callers, because we treat you as just one of the gang. It's very punk rock of us. No stage. All right, so we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
weekend, and he is now in as a member of Black Sabbath and as a solo artist.
Okay, so Ozzy is going in along with the Tribe
He's
Called Quest.
in. It already happened, Fred. You keep talking about it as it's going to happen. It was a huge ceremony Saturday night. This was a big deal. You weren't watching?
No, but I can tell you something to watch. You guys want something to watch? Okay, it's called a what the hell's Ryan laughing at? Did Nick give you a goose?
Yeah, we're getting all slap happy in here.
Yeah, you guys are always touching each other. All right, so here's the thing, is that there is a history of metal, the evolution of metal, and they go over, this is for everyone, they go over the new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
Now, you know Studio 54 was dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That CBGB was slam dancing. There's every scene has its own kind of thing. Well, if you were a fan of the new wave of British heavy metal in the early 80s, what you and your friends would do, all male, is you would go to a club with no live band, a DJ playing metal music while you wore a fake guitar that you made on your own and pretended to play it and headbanged.
But that's fantastic.
So there would be, and there is video, and it's fantastic. And guys talking about it on a Saturday night. You'd go to an alcohol bar, like a bar that served alcohol. You'd be of 18 or older at the time. You would have there would be who has the coolest fake guitar and like who put the best paint on it and sawed it off the best. And you would sit there and play the fake guitar and headbang, and that's how they spent
Was
their
this
time.
this in the States or in the UK?
This is in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes it even funnier, actually.
No, it wasn't. Streaking was going on here during that time. The streak.
What is this from a documentary that we can watch?
It's the evolution of metal.
Okay, all right.
And it's by a guy. It's actually a guy you'll end up liking by the end, but it's several parts.
Do you remember where you watched it?
You want to know if you can get it at the library. You want to know if there's going to be a paywall.
Maybe.
It's probably on YouTube.
All right, cool, thanks.
Yeah, I would imagine it's on YouTube, but you'd get a kick out of it. The whole thing's pretty good. I've watched the whole thing. It used to be on VH1 or one of those things. All right, so the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't. Adam, why a Tribe Called Quest and not De La Soul, who had more of an output?
Yes,
and had just lost a member as well.
None of it makes sense. And the other part. Speaking of people that lost members, I mean, they finally got the MC5 in like months after their final living member passed away. I know, Hardy, you and I were talking about.
But
that,
the thing is, the MC5 are cool and everything, and like that White Panther Party's weird that they were part of.
Yeah.
But they weren't a big band in any stretch of the imagination.
But they
or
were influential.
overly No, I would disagree. I would say Iggy Pop, Lou Reed.
I would
out
put
of
them
that
in that
scene.
same class, though. I would put them on the same tier.
But did enough people hear about them for them to be that influential on them in that style of music? Look, I have no problem with them getting in because I love fat guys with big afros, like their singer had. And Wayne Kramer was an animal back then. But whatever. I don't have a problem with them being in it. It's just like it's kind of there's bands that are like huge that aren't in there.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay, so this is really my only interest in having a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame discussion is talking about the bands that are not in. And this year, just to give you a benchmark, Mary J. Blige, Cher, Dave Matthews Band, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist, and A Tribe Called Quest. That's who got inducted this year. Still not in. And I mean, there's one list of 145 people on it that include like Joe Cocker and Bryan Adams. Like, how are they not in? But also Alice in Chains,
Soundgarden,
Jane's Addiction, Soundgarden, Ronnie James Dio, The Smiths, Iron Maiden, Joy Division, which people insist upon and say there's no modern music without Joy Division.
Of course,
because
every singer goes.
I'm just telling you what other bands think. I don't think that way.
Will tear us apart
Motorhead,
again.
Warren Zevon,
Warrant.
and if you want to go with like the whole like influencer route, John Coltrane. Every other like old artist that influenced rock and roll is in. John Coltrane not in.
Yeah, I went to a Jets-Browns game one year, and we stayed right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I didn't even walk inside.
Yeah.
That's how much I like it.
Black Crowes, not in.
We didn't even get to when Ian Curtis starts going. Oh, I like that you're playing this on a radio into the microphone. That's it. That's what is this? The Tin Can mix?
No, it's the official music video.
The
verified Joy Division account.
That's the remastered version.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, take the dead guy and really bump him down in the mix.
Phil Collins is a solo artist, not in.
Yeah.
Oh well, Easy Lover. Is Earth, Wind, and Fire in? Because if Phil Bailey's in,
yeah,
you got to have Phil Collins in so you can have both Easy Lover guys.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, did I love that song when I was a kid. Jesus, Adam.
That's pretty impressive.
How'd you do that?
That's really good.
It's because he's got an 8-track in his pocket.
Jay
At all
Giles
times.
Band, not in.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. That's just for John.
Boo!
Oh, Jay Giles. They were like, I'll tell you what, they had a lot of fun around here. They weren't like the Beatles.
Kansas,
they suck.
Boston, neither one in.
Why would Kansas or Boston be in the Rock and Roll? Why would Kansas be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What song do they have? What song does Kansas
Carry
have?
on my wayward son.
There'll be peace when you are gone.
Okay, besides that, what do they do?
What song does
Let the Idaho State Fair retire them.
what does Peter Frampton have other than the Do You Feel Like We Do?
Well, Frampton Comes Alive, if you want to be serious, is one of the best-selling albums of all time. Yeah. And Frampton was in a rock band before he was solo that was successful. Correct?
But rock people in the 70s looked down on Peter Frampton. They thought he was bubblegum. They thought he was a lightweight.
As opposed to, all these hard hitters like Cher that were very respected outside of camp communities.
Well, that's why I'm saying, Zeppelin and stuff. That was rock and roll in the 70s. Frampton was not considered cool.
Zeppelin and Kiss not loved by the critics. Very disrespected by Rolling Stone. If you go back, as we shall tomorrow, and go over every Kiss and Rolling Stone review ever in Rolling Stone.
That's at 7:40 and 8 tomorrow.
Yeah, they're very, they hated Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin were, considered, dirt kids. Rock, there wasn't art enough. They were Lester Bangs was checking out the Lou Reed.
And you know what, Fred? They were right to write those words. They were correct.
There's no way if I handed you a Lou Reed album and a Led Zeppelin album, who artists I own no music by either of them, or listen to at any time, that you would take the Lou Reed.
No, I would subjectively say, or is it objectively say? I would subjectively say that the Led Zeppelin album is better, but I would have no interest in listening to either of them.
That's fine. But to say that they are a bad band is just not true.
You know who else is not in? Ram Jam.
But this song is in. The corpse of Black Betty is actually there. Along with Rosie. A whole lot of Rosie.
This is what, did Tom Brady play this to get pumped up for the football games?
Him and his nerd friend played it in the car.
They were listening to the rock station.
Awkward.
The rock station.
Right.
They were listening to the rock station on the way in. Because when I listen to the rock station on the way in, I want to hear Fat Bottom Girls. I want to hear Rebel Yell, Ramble On. These are the things I want to hear when I'm coming into work. That's what they give the talented people. They said, you play Fat Bottom Girls like an idiot.
I give that a 6.
That's
an 8.
No, that's only a 6.
That's a 9. Hey, moron. More people want to hear Fat Bottom Girls.
That's a 9.
All right, very good. Phil Perry will be here in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy. Your home of the pass. 98.5. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots now have 6 straight losses for the first time since 1993. They were beaten by Jacksonville yesterday, 32-16 in London. A big problem for the team yesterday, the lack of a running game for Gerard Mayo.
It's a mentality, it's an attitude, and here as of late, our run game just hasn't been able to do anything offensively, and then defensively. I mean, the players, we just got to play better. We got to play better technique. Got to lock our guy out in front of us and really just, that's what it comes down to. Locking the guy out in front of you, dominating him, and making a tackle.
They managed 38 yards on the ground for the day, while the defense allowed 171. The special teams also allowed a Parker Washington 96-yard punt return for a score. Drake made 276 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Patriots are 1-6. They're back home to play the Jets on Sunday, and the Jets got blown out in Pittsburgh last night, 37-15. They are 2-5. Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick ended his holdout yesterday. He'll report to the team this morning. Cleveland quarterback Deshaun Watson out for the season. He tore his Achilles yesterday in a loss to Cincinnati. At the baseball playoffs, the Dodgers beat the Mets 10-5. They win the National League pennant in 6 games. They'll host the Yankees in Game 1 of the World Series on Friday night. And with the NBA season set to begin tomorrow night, the New York Liberty won the WNBA title last night for the first time. They beat Minnesota in overtime 67-62. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 Big Deal Meals at the Nines. 4 new hearty full-size entrees like the roasted turkey dinner, available every Monday through Wednesday for just $14.99. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Disappointing game. We came out, we started fast. What I would say is, look, we're a soft football team across the board. We talk about what makes a tough football team. That's being able to run the ball, that's being able to stop the run, and that's being able to cover kicks, and we did none of those today. They controlled the ball for most of the day. Their run game averaged over 4.5 yards a carry. Our run game, not sure what the average was, but it wasn't good. Back to the drawing board. We can't sit here and pout. We just got to put a game together.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube if you search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and then click subscribe, and everyone is happy. Then we become a part of your algorithm. Phil Perry covers the Patriots for NBC Sports Boston. He was nice enough to come in studio with us this morning off schedule because everyone that was in London are just lazy, quite frankly. They had all night to come back.
Seriously.
I know, right? But, Phil, what do you make of Gerard Mayo saying that the team was soft?
Well, I would agree, and it did sort of remind me of something that I've heard Dante Scarnecchia say many times over the years, which is, as a coach, you have 2 jobs. Number 1 is tell the truth. And I felt like Gerard Mayo was telling the truth there. That was my initial reaction right after the game. We're on Post Game Live on NBC Sports Boston, and I'm talking about how they have a toughness problem, is the way I put it. Because when you just get run over the way they do, and you barely have the ball, it even feels like in the second half, you can't stop the run. They very obviously couldn't run the football, and I thought they stuck with it too long. And you have a 96-yard punt return that you allow for a touchdown. So by definition, to me, after hearing it from Bill Belichick for 20-plus years, if toughness means running the ball, stopping the run, and covering kicks, you were 0 for 3. You struck out. So I agree with his assessment, but the second part of what Scarnecchia used to always say is tell the truth and give the team answers. And I wonder how many answers are being provided by the coaching staff right now, because I thought in-game they were slow to react at times, and it feels like because we're seeing the same problems week after week after week, they're allowing an average of 185 yards rushing per game over the last 3 weeks. It's an obvious problem that they haven't been able to fix. Are you giving your team answers? So that was my reaction to it. I agree with the assessment. I just don't know what the coaching staff, Gerard Mayo, first and foremost, is doing to correct these things.
Yeah, because that's the thing that stood out about these games. Jacksonville just said we're just going to run and we're going to get out of here, and we've seen that. The Texans did the same thing. They're just like, after they went up 14-0, that the game wasn't the same. They were playing completely differently. I mean, these teams go into like a prevent offense, and it doesn't matter because you're picking up like 5-6 yards a carry. Why the hell would I even throw it or throw downfield? Certainly, if I can just, I mean, that's every coach's wet dream.
Why get your quarterback hurt?
Yeah, exactly. Just if every coach in the NFL wants to do that. They love it. Just run it up to gut, 5-6 yards a carry. Like that's what
Make
they want
them
to
stop
do.
us.
Make them stop us. But that I will ask you this: is that if a team in the second half, and a team as mighty as Jacksonville without their starting running back, if a team. My question, you're at a certain point, you're a professional athlete. Like you succeeded at playing defense at a high level at some point. Like, what is if you know they're going to run and they're going to run and they don't care really, they're letting you know and they're just watching the clock run. What's happening? Like, how are they getting pushed over like this? There's only so many linemen. I mean, there's 11 defenders. Like, how is this happening?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think it starts out by just bad technique. And so you have, I thought it was pretty interesting, actually. The Jaguars didn't do a whole lot of exotic stuff with their run game. They did what, a lot of teams call split flow inside zone. So you see the tight end move across the line of scrimmage, and that might get linebackers to move. It might get even a safety that's playing at sort of the second level to adjust. And then you just run it downhill. You run between the tackles. They ran, I think it was over 65% of their runs, I saw according to Next Gen Stats yesterday, the Jaguars. Over 65% of their runs were between the tackles yesterday.
Those 18 straight runs they ran in the second half, weren't all of them between the tackles? Maybe one was a pitch?
I think they had a couple of, these wide zone runs that we're used to seeing the Patriots try to run, and unsuccessfully so, over and over and over again. So there might have been a couple of wide zones sprinkled in there, John, but
most of them
it
were
was for the most part downhill, right down your throat. And so I think it starts with technique, Fred. They had they've got a third string linebacker out there in Christian Ellis. They've got smaller safety, Marte Mapu, who is a tough guy, but he's not a huge guy playing safety, in that safety role that Jabril Peppers is usually playing, which is at times a linebacker role. And so I think the linebackers really sort of got exposed. And then at a certain point, whether it's 17 or 18, I thought it was 17 runs. I think the broadcast had it at 19 at one point. Whatever it is, at some point, they're having so much success because your technique sucks that you get exhausted. And I think that happened too. So it's a combination of those two things. But it has to be coaching too, doesn't it, Hardy? Don't you have to look at DeMarcus Covington or Gerard Mayo, defensive head coach, and say, they're doing the same thing over and over to us for about an entire half of football. Are we going to do anything schematically to adjust to this? Because I'm not sure I saw a whole lot.
Especially for Mayo, and I'm sure he'll have more answers or more things to tell the team this week other than, not being tough, because toughness is a part of it. The physical toughness, the mental toughness, being able to play through the fact that this team is doing the same thing to you over and over and over again. But yeah, schematically and just game plan-wise, if Gerard Mayo can't see something in how they can at least stop the onslaught, who can? This is supposed to be his forte. This is supposed to be, the one thing that we could hang our hats on this season. We don't know about Jacoby Brissett. We don't know if and when Drake May is going to play him. When he does, who knows how he'll be. But at least defensively, they should be pretty sound. And defensively, in these last two games anyway, is when you've really been let down. There's no reason for that team yesterday to go out there and run the ball down your throat like that and to put up that many points on you. That's unacceptable. That's the most unacceptable part of it. And it's kind of unacceptable for me in a way to hear Gerard Mayo say, "Oh, we're not very tough." Well, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you've got a quarterback in there now that is actually putting you in a position, at least in those first two drives, to play with a lead. Now it's the job of the defense to keep you in the game, and they couldn't do it, not by a long shot.
Well, and accurate as his assessment might have been, again, I agreed with it. That is just about the gravest insult you can hand a football player.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. And I think lucky for Gerard Mayo, the players, according to the comments that I could see after the game, by and large, seem to agree with him. Now, that's not all 53 guys in the locker room, but I saw comments from, 7, 8, 9, who seemed to all sort of echo the same thing, which is he's not wrong. Kyle Degger said, I'm glad he kept it real with us, and he told us the truth. Daniel Aquale's, same thing. Great quote to Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald saying, he's right, and we have guys who think too highly of themselves, and they have to check their egos at the door, and if we play within the scheme, we're fine. But if we don't, if guys feel like they're so good they can play outside the scheme, then we're in trouble. So I think the response for Mayo seemed good, but we'll see moving forward, because that's incredibly strong language to be handing a team when your coaching doesn't look like it's up to snuff either.
Okay, I'm sorry, John, but do you have a concern? Because we're going to get into it. You know what, John? You say yours. I'll save mine for later.
Okay,
you go.
Speaking to the larger problem in the locker room, another thing we were talking about, suppose you have Christian Barmore, Jawan Bentley, and Jabril Peppers. How much has that changed yesterday?
I think it changes it significantly, but I've talked to players about this over the course of the last couple of weeks because, again, this has been a problem for some time now on the defensive side where, your best player yesterday is Drake May. You can't even get him the ball in the second half. And I asked him about the absences.
Did they win yesterday?
Did they win yesterday?
I don't think so.
Probably not. No.
They're
just not buttoned up enough. I do think it helps, but the players themselves will tell you, John, and they've told me, it's not an excuse. To not have Jawan Bentley out there, getting people organized and being arguably their team's best run defender, it's not an excuse. They shouldn't be that bad. Does it hurt them? Of course it does. Does Barmore not being out there hurt them? Of course it does. It can't be that bad. 171 yards on the ground.
I mean, how many teams are going to players are going to get injured, Like, that's the thing, is that you have to have the depth on your team to handle, 3 injuries. I mean, every defense is missing it. I mean, the Lions are missing their best defensive player, arguably the best player on their team. That's going to happen for the year. He might come back for the Super Bowl, Hardy, he said. But, you're going to have to deal with those injuries. What did you think of May yesterday?
I thought he was good. I thought he was their best player.
Yeah, he might be, like, on the field right now, the best player on the Patriots.
I think he is. I'm not really sure who else you'd have up there. I mean,
I got one.
Maybe Christian Gonzalez, based on what he's done historically over the course of the last season, but not yesterday.
Hunter
Henry was good yesterday. Yeah,
but
made a nice catch over the middle. But I think Drake May is making plays for other players on that roster that have not been making plays.
Okay, so
Jermichael Hasty and Keyshawn Boutte. I mean, it's last 2 weeks he's been doing that for other guys. He's been elevating.
Well, he's giving Boutte a career. Here's the deal: if you're a Patriots fan and you're watching this, and because I want to get into Mayo after the break and with all the stuff people are saying on social media, but in terms of just being a fan, you knew you were going to suck. And you knew you weren't going to win it. The over-under win total is 4.5. They're not winning 5 games. However, you guys all told us during preseason how physically gifted he is. And trust me, I've seen a lot of rookie quarterbacks flame out. The moment doesn't seem too big for him. He doesn't seem to lose his composure. And these are all things that can't be taught or they come when you leave and go to another team. And even though this team sucks and there's not a lot of talent around him, he's shining a little bit. So if you're a Patriots fan, is this hopeful? Like, is this the best way they could have been sucking? If that makes sense.
I would say it's a silver lining, but the problem with yesterday is that's probably the most winnable game left on your schedule.
Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of games, but if you're going to lose a lot of games, May being this good, that's better. What would you rather do? Win 6 games this year and have May be okay, or win 2 games this year and have May be good?
I would rather have the 6 games because I think it speaks to the functionality of the program, which I think needs to see that it's having some success on some level to generate buy-in, which they should be fearing is lacking right now based on how they've played. And Fred, so if you win 6 and the last 3, Drake May looks spectacular, that to me is almost the best case scenario. I know that's not one of the scenarios that you gave me there, but if you can win 6, show that you have something as a team, as an organization, and you have a quarterback who's showing you something, who's showing real progress and giving you real hope at the end of the year, that to me would be the best case scenario for them. He's showing you more hope maybe earlier than some were anticipating, but the team's going in the other direction.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay. Let's break, and then I want to get into the whole Mayo thing. Because if I'm a Patriot fan, they fire Mayo in the offseason. I don't care. They won't, but if they fired Mayo, I wouldn't care. I want the quarterback.
Okay, and that's a long discussion. Before we get to that, can we ask about the 2-point conversion try? Can we talk to Phil about that a little bit? This much.
You want to talk a little math?
This much. The math is easy. The math we can all do.
You're a very bright guy.
All right.
Look at this.
Humble brag.
We'll do both.
The math is easy.
Just do it now so we can get it out of the way. Were they right to go for 2?
Were they right to go for 2?
So at the time, I thought they were. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Why?
That's it.
Because you have more chance. You needed to get a 2-point conversion at some point to win that game. You give yourself 2 shots at getting the 2-point conversion. It increases your odds of actually hitting on one of them.
But if you don't hit on it the
Right.
first time, now you need to score twice.
So what happens if you don't hit on it the second time?
Then the game's over,
Right.
and the,
Right, so the game's over either
chances
way.
are you're only getting one more shot at it anyway. There was 7-8 minutes left of the game, and you hadn't scored all game. You hadn't scored since the second drive. So here's the thing.
That's the best point.
You want
not only have you not scored, you haven't really had the ball.
You want to be down 2. It's okay for you to be down 2 scores in a game where you haven't scored,
And you're only going to get the ball once
as opposed
in the final
to down
7 minutes.
Yeah, as opposed to down 1 score.
Hardy, you needed to get a 2-point conversion. If you wait, right, and you don't have that information and you don't get it, then the game's over.
What information do you need? You have the information either way. You're going to need a 2-point conversion. All right, we'll worry about that if we get back to the end zone. Let's keep it a 1-score game because the chances are we're not. If we miss it here, are we going to kick a field goal and score a touchdown?
The defense is going to allow their offense to run time off the clock. You're going to get the ball once. I'd rather have that down 1 score than being forced to score twice.
Not to mention the momentum that you have. All right, we're gonna score a touchdown. We're gonna kick the next point. We're gonna be down 8. We get a stop. Then we go down and we score again. Holy crap! This team is on fire. We have just scored 14 unanswered and a chance to tie this thing, or 13 unanswered and a chance to tie this thing with a 2-point conversion. I think they're feeling pretty good at that point. You got to play the tape to the end. How is it going to feel going down there trying to score 2 at the end as opposed to right now?
Well, I get it. How much elation does a team feel after a successful extra point? That's the point.
It's incredible.
I mean, then you're just
Listen, how
riding away.
Measure that against how deflated you feel when you miss the 2-point conversion. Like, well, we just lost the game.
Yeah,
which is what they did.
You got another chance.
That's when they lost.
You just
the game.
drove the field very quickly and scored a touchdown.
Oh, stop it! You didn't believe they were going to get down there and score 2 more times.
I'm just saying. How do you feel? Here's the other. Okay, if you just wanted to vent, just vent. Just keep going. Just keep going. If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Yeah. So angry.
I only had to vent because you're wrong.
All right, very good.
That's fair.
I've deduced Phil reached his breaking point.
By the way, no matter if successful 2-point conversion, if they didn't score the touchdown, whatever, they were losing that game. So let's be honest.
In the end, it didn't matter either way.
They were up 10-0, and then I took my eye off the game and got in an Uber, and then it was 22-10. Or not an Uber because I can't get into my Uber account.
Oh, that's right. You've been locked out. Yeah.
I have a 5-star rating on Lyft, so eat it, Uber. I made a lot of drivers real happy, being nice and quiet in the back and on time. All right, we'll be back. I want to talk about losing the locker room and some of the activity on social media by guys that have no business doing it. That will be interesting. We'll continue with Phil Perry in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the This is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
KJ Osborne posted something on Instagram, like a text exchange with his agent, and his agent said, we have to figure out this situation, or we'll work to figure out this situation. I guess, what is the situation with him that's going on, I guess?
I'm not sure what the exact situation is. Look, he's probably frustrated because he's not playing as much as he wants to. And, I understand that. If you think you should be out there on the field and not having those opportunities, you will get frustrated. It's a natural human reaction. I would hope that they would keep that stuff in house, and I have that open door policy. If he feels a certain type of way, he always has the ability to speak to me. But that's those guys' freedom of speech.
John, I just have your and I's mics up because Phil Perry, Jim Louth, it's getting deep when Louth jumps into the conversation.
I know Louth was holding court in the other room with Phil. I saw that.
All right, they're still arguing.
It's a losing argument for me because they lost and it didn't work.
The two biggest honks, the two biggest honks in the building, Jim Louth, who has forgotten more about football than anyone in this building will ever know. Okay,
I acknowledge that.
And Scott Zolak both agree. Jim said it nice. Hardy, you're right. Phil's wrong. Zoe just texted me, effing idiotic going for 2. This isn't a normal team where stats apply.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we should know that.
Phil.
I just listen. All I was trying to say before when Hardy was
if you say
unceremoniously shouting me down, as he's doing again right now, if you notice.
Phil, I'm just going to, I won't say another word, but if you say you know what you need one more time, I'm going home.
It's better to know that you missed the 2-point conversion with 8 minutes left than it is with 30 seconds left. That's all I would say.
I'd rather still be in the game, Phil. If you're down 2 scores with 7 minutes left, this team is out of the game.
I agree with Phil, but here's the deal. I don't think anyone really cares.
Yeah, that's
they lost the game.
Yeah, we can stop talking.
32-16.
Sorry.
It was funny when you guys were
go.
arguing, but let's not pull it into a second break. Well, then there's no need to apologize to me.
Let's do a podcast.
Yeah, you two knock out a podcast.
Great idea.
They're making a lot of money. Like, even the original ones. Like, did you see that email the guy sent us from Ira Glass is saying that they make 1/3 of what they made 2 years ago? Yeah, the podcast industry is not in a good place. The radio industry is not either. But it ain't going to lose 2/3 of its business. All right, so here we go, Phil. You just heard KJ Osborne, who sucks, correct? I mean, you covered the team, but I mean, KJ Osborne's not good. So he put some weird thing that was with his agent, not his agent. Who cares? It doesn't matter. He took a screenshot of a text message about what a hero he was and for playing in the game and how that he was told so late that he was going to play and they were all the way in London. And then he put like Bible stuff up there because JC's pulling for KO. Or whatever.
In case you might have said anything wrong, you wrap yourself in Bible verse and you're fine.
He gets inspiration from the Bible, which is the way the Bible is intended. And so, Phil, that happens, and then you have this Polk kid who is a real bust, Hachi Machi. Between Pickens' night last night catching one-handed balls that you passed on for Tyquan Thornton and this idiot Polk, you got a real situation. And Polk's an idiot. He's all talking. So here's my thing. Let's start with this. Because I was on this. I'm not a scientist, but we've had in the years I've been on this station, I've had 100 ex-players on, and a bunch of them have told me funny stories about a coach losing them. Aqib Talib said that the coach in Denver lost him the first time he ever talked.
Vance Joseph.
Matt Patricia lost his team the first time he ever talked. These are infamous things. But that being said, it's precarious to be a new coach. Like setting up your system and getting people to buy in is precarious. Is Mayo in danger of losing all of losing the buy-in? With that, and kids are going public with it. That's first question. Is he in danger of losing the buy-in?
I think he is. And that's why I called this game before it was played a must-win for a one-win team, which is a weird way to describe it because, as I said beforehand, I didn't think anybody was getting fired based on the results of this particular game. So must-win, what does that mean? Okay, or else what? But for me, when you're 1-5 playing against another 1-5 team and you have an opportunity to win a game that you don't, on an international stage, if you want to factor that in, and it's something that the owner cares a lot about, I think the players were already showing signs of letting go of the rope, right? Playing undisciplined football with all the penalties that they've racked up. I believe they had 7 more yesterday. The softness that they had already exhibited before their coach ever called them out for it, with all the rushing yards that they had allowed. The hopelessness that they carried with them basically on a weekly basis until Drake May got in on the offensive side because they were just so damn poor on that side of the ball. So they were already showing signs of losing buy-in, Fred. And then you lose to one of the worst teams in football, and you do it in such a way where it's not just that you lost, but you got bullied.
Yeah.
You got emotionally beaten down. Yeah. And talk about the emotional element of it. 2-point conversions aside. That's a real thing. When you can't stop the run, I've heard defensive players talk about that. It's like your soul has been sucked from your body.
Yeah,
when there's nothing you can do about it, and you know it, and they know it, and that's just how the game is going to go the rest of the day.
And you're on TV, and everyone can see how soft you are.
Standalone game.
Yeah.
No other games happening but
so,
you.
yes, to answer your question, yes. I don't know what you do to try to regain it mid-season other than play better.
Why don't they cut Osborne? Just cut him. Cut him today. Go. Because, by the way, the team's no worse without him. In my opinion,
you're not going to trade him and get anything.
And
for
I don't
him.
think, Phil, even you'd make the argument. Well, they're not going to stay.
My point is, there's no other way to get rid of him. You have to do it that way.
I'd rather go to Everett and pick up a kid than I would have KJ Osborne on my team. Why not cut him? And then what are they going to do with Polk? Because he's a problem.
I was stunned they played Polk as much as they did because he was one of the guys when we were talking about, Gerard Mayo's talking about making lineup changes. Okay, who's it going to be? And I said beforehand, I don't think it's going to be anybody that you really care about because it was Raekwon McMillan was out and JaMychal Hasty, the kick returner, was out of that role, and that was it. I thought Polk might be the one who actually was a little bit of a name that they might sit down because he needed it.
Because just to add, over the last week, Mayo said that guys would be sitting and he'd be making personnel decisions based on performance and attitude. Go ahead.
Right. So Polk, I thought, fit the bill in that regard as an appropriate quote-unquote benching, even if he didn't outright make him inactive, because he clearly needs a reset. I know he pushed back on the fact that he had a mental blockage when it came to the drops, but it's very obvious to anybody watching. He caught, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember the old Dikembe Mutombo clip? It's so random, but it sticks out in my mind. And the Nuggets had just won a playoff game, and he's on his back, John, and he's holding the basketball, he's shaking the basketball. Jalen Polk was doing that at the end of the game against the Texans because he had one catch in that game for 4 yards. He was on his back at the very end of the game. Players are coming from both sidelines to shake hands, and he's holding the ball like Dikembe Mutombo. I finally caught one.
That's right.
Like, once you see that, it's time to sit the guy down for a little while. And then I think he dropped every pass that was thrown to him yesterday. He had 3 targets. It looked like to me all 3 hit his hands and hit the turf. The third one, I didn't see a replay, so I didn't have a great angle.
Two of them definitely hit him in the hands.
It might have been a third. And he falls down on the 2-point conversion, which they probably should have had. It looked like he was going to be open.
He was open.
And he fell down.
He was open, but he fell down.
So, yes, he should be sitting. And I forget now what the first part of your question was.
Do you cut Osborne?
Oh.
See, Osborne's things was the worst because at least Polk can hide behind, like, what do you know it means? Like, because it's just, if you don't know, it's just like a peace sign with a hand.
I mean, do you think Osborne is going to cause that much of a disruption, though, to the point where you have to cut him?
I would say, hey, listen, he's a veteran that we signed. He's acting out. He's gone.
It's more precedent setting than anything else. If you want to keep the culture of your locker room, maybe this is a way to do that.
Yeah, and there's no way like he's like the straw that stirs the drink there or anything like that. He's not like a Slater behind the scenes. It says to your team, if you F around in public and start getting out of line with your social media, you're gone, and I'm going to cut you. I think it's a very powerful message to a very bad player. Go ahead.
Does it strike you as sort of beyond the pale for Mayo, though? Does that feel like he's going outside of what he would normally do? Does it feel like it's a little disingenuous?
I don't know what he would do.
Here's
too early to tell.
Here's where I would draw the line.
Because they're not really there's not really much of a culture to try to save right now. You're trying to build something.
This is a way
here's
to do
my
that.
thing. If I'm Mayo, have a personality. Be yourself. Be yourself to the media. Have fun. Talk a little trash. All that stuff. But if you start going against the team or woe is me about your role and how in that, then you're gone. As long as you're just having fun and build your brand all you want, But if it's at the expense of the team, you're gone. I think that's a fair, and I don't think that's a hypocritical line to draw. To go, listen, guys, I'm not Belichick. I know that you're human beings, and I know you want to make money off the field, and I know you want to build brands, and there's a way to do it. But I was in the league for a long time, and I can tell you, but if you anything negative about the team that you put out there, it's a problem, and you could be gone. And I think that's a good message to send.
I don't think it's a horrible message to send, and we're approaching the trade. They're not going to get anything in a trade for him. But if you maybe have a conversation with him and you say, all right, do you want to be here anymore? And if he doesn't, then you look to see if you can find some conditional seventh out there from somebody who just had an injury at the receiver position. And if you can't, then maybe by the trade deadline, he's gone. The only problem for them is, and I'm not saying KJ Osborne's a good player, but he did come in because you were down Pop Douglas the other day, who's had an injury issue. And I know he was sick yesterday, but he did have an injury issue last year as a rookie, and he's a smaller guy. You're losing these games anyway, so maybe the conversation is moot. Mm-hmm. But are you good enough to be able to look at KJ Osborne, who's probably an NFL roster player? He's not a difference maker, Fred. You're right about all that. But somebody who can fill in for you and catch a touchdown, are you good enough to be saying goodbye to those guys?
I don't think it matters all that much.
It probably doesn't, but I don't know if you're making a real impact on the culture one way or the other either.
Here's the deal, though. You can't cut Polk. You can't cut Douglas. You can't, these. I understand what you're saying. Bourne seems like a good guy who you can't, and is a good player who you can't cut. There are guys you can't cut. I'm not an idiot. Listen, if Justin Jefferson goes, I'm the man and this team sucks, I'm not cutting him. I'm not trading him.
Are,
you're as long as you catching 8 balls a game for 120 yards, you do whatever you want.
Say whatever you want, right?
So I get where you're going, but I just don't think he's that player. I don't, and I just gave you 3 receivers on a bad receiver, a team full of bad receivers. I just gave you 3 that I would let get away with a little bit more. Osborne's the guy I'm making a statement with, and I don't know, if you're going wins above replacement, I don't know what Osborne's wins above replacement is.
No.
I'm not positive you couldn't just get a guy off a practice squad that's just, if not as good, certainly Fred, in the Venn diagram.
It's not a bad. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just wondering does that look like a rash move? Does it look like you've got
time for rash moves?
It's time for rash
whatever
moves.
Mayo's doing, he needs to change.
Phil, I think it makes the team look really bad. I think that when you lose like that, and it's bad enough as it is, and you got some guy taking screenshots like a 12-year-old girl of his text messages and putting them up about what a hero he is and how poorly he was treated. F you suck, and you're on a bad team.
Why is he offended that he was going to be inactive?
Yeah, that's the thing. And then, by the way, and that's another point. Thank you, John. If Mayo, because it just occurred to me, if Mayo was going through this whole rigmarole and exercise of guys are going to pay consequences for not performing, well, that was a guy that obviously he was saying he didn't know if he was going to play, and then Bob Douglas is not.
He can't argue that he wanted playing time. He's not playing well.
Yeah, and Mayo just said, guys, it's going to affect playing time.
Listen, you're not going to get an argument from me. The guy's like the 6th receiver on the worst pass offense in football. So, if they cut him in 5 minutes, I would shrug my shoulders at it.
Yeah, I know.
He also did just catch a touchdown pass on a team that has 6 touchdown passes caught all year.
But he didn't play a good game.
Well, he only got in because of Douglas's illness. I think he was on track to be another dress and don't play at all, which is what happened to him 2 weeks ago
Which,
against
by the
the
way,
Texans.
Totally off topic for a second. A weird illness for Douglas, who started the game and was out there, and then.
Did you hear them blaming the food in London after the fact?
No.
It's one of the biggest cities in the world. Apparently, they didn't get great meals the other day in London, and it was impacting guys left and right.
Everyone stand back because Adam's got a joke.
Pop Douglas? More like Poop Douglas.
Saying he had diarrhea. Hot dog.
Yeah.
All right, Phil.
Sorry about that, Phil.
Thanks for coming in.
No, this was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I had a good time.
We just hit you over the head with a slam dunk joke.
Feel free to use that later.
I'm going to be smiling all day after hearing that. Thank you, Adam.
But that is the thing. When you immerse yourself in a culture that is so foreign to us, like that of the UK, I mean, who knows what that saucy UK food's going to do to your
I'm
stomach?
saying. What kind of spices are they using over there?
I like that people act like
exactly
going to London's any more different than going to New York City.
It
might be more homogenized.
Any type of food you want, they have there.
Yeah, like
any level of quality they have there.
Yeah, like you can find pizza in London.
Yeah,
it's not India. Like you're not like out like at a.
Also, you can find the best, maybe one of the best Indian restaurants in the world.
Yeah,
if you
well,
want
they have a thriving Indian culture.
Multiple comments about the food in London, though. Kendrick Bourne, guys, up all night eating whatever they want. Apparently.
All right. Well, listen, you're if you go to like some wild country, some third world country like London, I mean, you get what's coming to you.
Never know, right?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty wild. I mean, look at their teeth, very, very dirty. All right, thank you, Phil.
But actually healthier than American teeth.
Oh, it's like because it's like if you gnaw on wood,
No,
it's gonna toughen them up.
No, this is a strange hill that I died on years ago, but I did a deep dive, and if you judge it just on how many actual teeth you still have in your head, British people have a healthier mouth than Americans. Where we get caught up is the cosmetics of it, where they're not big on braces and retainers and all that stuff. Just because your teeth are crooked doesn't mean you have an unhealthy, mouthful of teeth. And it's thrown off a lot by people in the South who tend to lose their teeth here in the United States.
Yeah, they're always. That's why you have an electoral college, so they matter as much. So here's the deal. Guy comes into it. Two guys come into an interview. Same races, same everything. Nothing's different.
Is this a joke?
Same resume. No, same resume. One guy has got normal teeth, not even like straight whatever, just normal teeth. The other guy's teeth are pointing in every single direction. Big buck teeth, like all messed up. Who are you hiring?
The guy with the biggest bulge.
All right. You're not hiring the guy with the messed up teeth, I can tell you that. It makes you think someone's
hire
unintelligent.
the one with the biggest bulge.
Then I know who you'd hire around here. But he's already got a job. All right, Phil, thank you very much.
Thanks, boys.
All right, here are the headlines.
fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on
today. All right. It was a bad week of football, so let's do something besides football.
Well, it is still somewhat football related, though, Fred.
Wasn't born when he took over as the head coach of the Patriots.
No. By a long shot. He was 59. He was 59 13 years ago. He had won multiple Super Bowls.
Well,
by the time that she was born.
23, 24.
She was born. We're going with 23.
She was born in 2001.
Yeah.
He took over the Patriots in 2000.
Wait, no, 2001. Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Let's just say she was born in the 2000s.
Oh, so he was in his late 50s when he took the Patriots job. Are we doing this math right, or is everyone screaming?
He's 72. 24 years ago, he was 54. No, sorry.
No, 48.
48. What am I doing?
How many? 23 years ago, he was 48.
Yes.
Oh, not
24.
50. Not 58.
Okay. But
I don't know why I just did that. So he was my age when she was born.
She hadn't been born yet when he took over.
So, like, today, if a girl was born today.
Yes.
Eventually you would date her.
No, and then I turned 73. So I'm 73. She's born today.
Yeah.
I turned 73. I date the girl that is coming out of a uterus right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
But on top of that, I'm a grisly, ill-tempered prick who's ugly. And then that's who she wants.
How can you call a guy grizzly when he spent an afternoon at the West End Creamery in Hudson, Massachusetts? He and Jordan Hudson went to the 6-acre corn maze, took photos in front of the corn maze map, and then signed a football, which I have a question about here. Because you'll see at the end of the 3-photo post from Jordan on her Instagram, the football. It's one of the autograph footballs. It's, the brown on one side and on the white. You're writing the black Sharpie. To West End Creamery, best farm in NE. Bill Belichick, 8X Super Bowl champion. Question. Do they ride around with footballs ready to be signed in the car?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you give me a couple of bags of apples here, I'll sign a football for you.
This is a great farm experience. Let's just go in the maze and talk about Socrates.
Or as Deuce said yesterday, Mike Tussaud was on with us earlier when we brought this up on the post game. Can you imagine Bill Belichick in a corn maze? Oh, Christ. Just give me my phone. Somebody come get me the hell out of here.
As long as he's got the thing he can put it, as long as he can inject something into his unit to get it working, he don't care. Now, he'd have a problem if you took the syringe and threw it into the maze and had him go find it.
What's the point of this?
Because then he would be useless sexually.
What is the point of all this?
The thing is, he's such a punk, too. Because, like, if you're going to just bang, like, 23-year-old girls, like, why wouldn't you bang, like, a whole stable of them? Like, if you're really going to go all in on it, why would you go to a farm? I wouldn't go to a farm on a date now.
Well, you're not dating a 24-year-old. That's what you do. That's what you have to do.
If I dated a 24-year-old, I don't even think it would be that out of the question. People would still make fun of me, but I could sleep at night.
I bet she'd be asking you to go to apple picking, go to a corn maze.
No, she'd just be like, please make love to me all the time. His kid's got to love this. His kid's got to be over the moon. And you might go, oh, Fred, you're being a dick. You're a dick. I guarantee you, because I guarantee his kids, I know his kids know who I am. But if the kids are listening to the show, they're like, thank God this guy's saying this stuff. I guarantee it. Let's put it this way. If I brought that girl home to meet my kids, and I'm 49, my kids would be like, what the hell are you doing? My kids would be like, what are you doing? This is making me uncomfortable. They really would.
Would you please ask her to stop asking you to make love all the time in front of us? It's making us uncomfortable.
I got 15 of these syringes, and each one lasts an hour.
kind of a Doris Burke.
I'm just going to say that's Doris Burke.
All right. How many voices do you want me to have?
More than one.
All right. Here is Jim
man.
Rome.
Oh, no, we got to go.
Now I'm doing a British fella. Now I'm doing Chachi.
I know, Fred.
I am out of sight.
Play music in the morning now?
Only fat bottom girls. Only fat bottom girls. All right.
I'm trying to get a request in.
They make
All
the
right.
rock and roll go round.
That's right. All right. Did you try calling a request?
I did.
Oh, yeah, this is my buddy. Nah, it's not. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.